It's NASCAR's All-Star Night. 1 year ago, Charlotte Motor Speedway, under cover of darkness in the light of the full moon. Last lap, first Earnhardt slides from the lead. Kyle Petty, Davey Allison. A shower of sparks, a spectacular finish. Tonight, they're back, and it promises to be one hot night. TNN Motorsports proudly presents Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night, the Winston, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. This place is packed with 140,000 fans, and they all have one question. Can anything top last year's finish? Here's Neil Bonnet.
Well, the Winston was billed as one hot night. It certainly was one hot last lap, maybe the best last lap in racing it. Here are the two guys that were the principals in that and set off a lot of sparks for us. What a lap. Let's take a look at this thing, guys, and y'all talk me through it. Let's see what happened.
I can't talk too much of it. Here, isn't it? Yeah. And I was behind Earnhardt there, and Earnhardt had got a jump on us, and, you know, I followed him down and come through the trial over there and got a pretty good run on him going in one. And if you watch it right here, as we go into one, his car pushes out a little bit. And I got a pretty decent run at him and come up out of the corner there and, you know, got up beside of him, and he kept coming left. And there's Davey out there where he's supposed to be. And, you know,
we about 5 car lengths behind him going down the back straightaway and thought, man, there's no way these guys are going to make it. We got a shot at it now.
And when he spun, you know, I was up the racetrack trying to get down, and Davey got up under me, and here we touched a couple of times, and Davey explains this part because he don't remember.
Yeah, that's where it all goes blank right there. You know, as we come across the line, we just ran out of room, and that was all over with. But I had to ask Larry McReynolds about 4 or 5 times in the ambulance on the way to the infield care center who won the race, and he kept saying, "You did." And I'd say, "No way, no way." And then a few minutes later, I'd say, "Who won?" He'd say, "You did." "Nah, no way." The same deal over and over and over. But, you know, I remember after things settled down and the cobwebs started shaking loose, I could remember the whole deal. And as we came off of turn 4, there was that opening. Kyle's car slid out a little bit, and I drove up alongside of him. And he did the same thing anybody should do. He just crowded me enough that we rubbed a little bit. I nudged ahead of him a little bit, and we rubbed again, and that time both of our cars separated and then came back together, and I was just far enough that it caught me in the wrong spot. It's just, that's racing sometimes.
And good racing it was. And the question was, who won? The question tonight, who will win this week in the Winston? Back to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Neil. There are a lot of race fans here. Let's meet a couple of them. From TNN's Video Morning, Katie Haas, and a fellow who's used to entertaining. Tonight, he's going to be entertained. Country singing great, Ricky Van Shelton.
Yes, indeed, Mike. We are right down here in the thick of it, in the pits. And Ricky Van, I tell you what, you usually put on a great show, but tonight I think you are going to see one great show.
Yeah, I'm going to be entertained tonight. And I tell you what, I've been hanging around here for 2 days and back in the pits and giving pointers to all the drivers and mechanics. And they've been showing me the cars, and I've been visiting some of the drivers' buses. And we've been having a real big time, and I guarantee it's going to be an entertaining race today.
You know, Ricky Van's been a racing fan for a long time, and tonight he's going to sing the national anthem and be right here in the thick of it. And you just better get ready. Gather family and friends around for the Winstons coming up live on TNN.
TNN Motorsports' exclusive live presentation of the Winston is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Set for a big night of racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as the sun grows low in the west. Baseball's all-star game plays a regular 9-inning format. You might imagine in stock car racing we do it a little differently. Hi everybody and welcome to Charlotte. I'm Mike Joy. The format for this race is unlike anything else in stock car racing. For the Winston, they'll run 30 laps, take a 10-minute intermission, run 30 more, take a 10-minute break, and then run a final 10-lap shootout. And that's where all the action seems to happen. I'm a little skeptical if we can top last year's finish, but the man who sits next to me has won a bunch of times here at Charlotte. Big Buddy Baker, what do you think?
Well, I guarantee you we're going to have a better show than last year. Same drivers, tons of money to be won in the Winston, but I think one of the guys out of the Winston Open stands a real good chance. I'm picking Jeff Gordon to win it all.
The Open and the Winston. Wow. Well, let's meet the man, the fleet rookie, that in qualifying has put his car on the pole for this preliminary race that will transfer 5 drivers into the All-Star event. It's the Winston Open, and they're lined up in the garage area. Glenn Jarrett is with the pole sitter.
Well, Mike, last year may have been one hot night. This is one hot rookie. This guy has turned stock car racing on its ear. Jeff Gordon got one of the fastest cars here this week. This is your first Winston. You'd really love to qualify for that Winston by winning this Winston Open, wouldn't you?
Oh, we sure would. You know, it only takes a top 5, but we sure would like to go out there and win it. Car's running real good tonight. Let's just see what happens, but we're going to try to hang loose, run our own race, and learn a lot from this race, and hopefully travel it over to the Winston and see if we can have something for him then.
Well, best of luck to you. You know, he's won the last 2 races that he's run here, so, buddy, your money may be safe betting on Jeff Gordon. Good luck, Jeff. Now let's go a little further back in the pack to Randy Pemberton. He's talking to somebody else who wants to qualify tonight.
Well, Kenny Schrader is way deep in the pack, 24th. I know you had a little tough qualifying run, and you've been in the Winston for years and years. All of a sudden, you're here in the Winston Open, but you got a smile on your face for one reason. Why is that?
Well, the car was running real good. That's why I got in this trouble. We were trying to get one of those laps to start us up in the front row there, and kind of got away from me. We got to gather back up, and we'll start 24th. And if you can't get through this race, you didn't belong in the Winston anyway.
Well, he's also got a chance to pick up a little extra cash before getting into the Winston. Good luck, Kenny. Glenn Jarrett, who you got up there?
Well, right now, I've got the defending champion of the Winston Open. In fact, he's won the last 2. You've got a knack for getting into Winston in this thing. Mike, how's it look tonight?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of confusing. You practice in the day and then you race at night, so makes it tough. But the Pennzoil Pontiac was running well this afternoon. We've had luck in this race, won it twice in a row, and I want to be in the Winston in the worst way. Only problem is about 15 other guys that do, so it could get a little exciting. I want to say hi to Jim Pate down in Texas from Pennzoil watching us tonight. We'll do good for you, Jim.
Well, you always do well here. What's the secret? Do you like the pressure of running the Open and qualifying that way?
Well, I don't like it, but I don't have any choice. I want to be in the Winston, and this is the route that we have to take to get here. You know, we've almost won a couple races in Winston Cup, but hadn't done it yet, so we're in the Open. Charlotte has always been a good track for me. It's real temperamental. You have to have a good setup here, and we've always seemed to get one here. And that's what will pay off tonight if you can handle through these corners.
Well, he'll get a handle on it. You can rest assured. Good luck to you, Mike. Now let's go back to Randy Pemberton.
Well, I'll tell you what, this guy, he's ready to go here. Rick Wilson standing by the STP Pontiac, helping him pushing out onto the grid with a smile on your face. You had a good qualifying run.
Yeah, we did. You know, the STP Pontiac run real good, and we're excited about the night. We got a 50 lapper we got to get through so we can get into Winston. That's what we're looking at.
Okay, what about if you do get into the Winston now? Think you can go on and win it?
Well, you know, you got 50 laps under your belt already, and if your car is not exactly right, you know, you can adjust on it. Where the guys going into Winston, you know, they gotta go with what they got. So, and you're already green-eyed by then if you get in there. So, I believe a guy coming out to Winston Open got just as good a shot at winning as anybody.
Okay, good luck tonight. Well, Kenny, Rick Wilson ran very well in the last practice session here, but there are 5 guys that are going to make it into the Winston. We'll see in just a moment when we have the green flag.
They're lining up the cars on pit road for the Winston Open. You've met the pole sitter, Jeff Gordon. Let's go to the outside pole. Here's Randy Pemberton.
Well, Brett Bonine, I know you would love to get into the Winston. You've been in it once. What about your strategy, and how do you feel about your car going in?
Well, we feel real good about the race car. We worked real hard on it today, and think we've got something that's going to be able to get us in there. You know, having 5 spots, you know, usually you got to go out there and try to win the thing, and sure, we'd like to win it, but you got to be smart. The big show's later on, and that's what we're here to try to do, get into that big show. I feel like our strategy is going to be, you got to take care of the tires. We're seeing a little bit of tire drop-off. The speed's dropping off, so, you know, we might see a little conservative run in the beginning to make sure we don't use up the tires.
Okay, good luck today.
Thank you.
There you see the starting grid for the Winston Open. A bunch of well-wishers and pit crews trying to get things squared away here. This has been a fun, festive evening because there's nothing at stake here as far as points or season champions concerned. This is just for pride and, of course, some money. Glenn?
Well, Mike, a lot of pride on here. Hut Strickland starting back in 19th spot. He was one of the 2 drivers that qualified in last year's Winston Open. Hut, you got a long way to go, only 50 laps to get there.
Well, we certainly do. You know, we had a little bit of problems in qualifying the other day in this McDonald's Ford thing. Got real loose with me, and, you know, we were just going for the gusto, and, you know, one of those things happened. But, you know, we feel like the car's running real good, and we feel like we got an awful good shot at him.
Are you going to have to put a hard charge on it? You don't have much waiting time.
Well, I tell you what, when you're starting this far back and a race this short, you're definitely going to have to do it in a hurry. And we feel like we made some gains right here, last practice, and we feel like we're very capable of getting to the front.
If anybody can do it from back here, Hutch Strickland can, Mike.
Lynn, I know how he feels. It's like being 20th in line at the drive-in window. But we're about set to go with the Winston Open. 5 drivers, the first 5 finishers, will cross over into the All-Star race. The Winston, tonight live on TNN. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Long shadows over Charlotte Motor Speedway right now. You still see a lot of sunlight glinting off the condominiums there down in turn number 1. We're about 45 minutes from complete darkness here. We've already had some great racing. The Little Dwarf Legends cars and the NASCAR Sportsman cars ran nearly caution-free in their 100-mile event. More on that later on. But now, the Winston Open is set to get fired off. Sears Diehard with more power when you need it most presents the starting grid for the Winston Open. Jeff Gordon won both Busch races here last year. He's on the pole. Brett Bodine finished second in this race in 1989. Rick Mast ran 4th in the Open 2 years ago. Rick Wilson 8th last week at Sears Point. Row 3, Mike Walter won this event the last 2 years. Back-to-back winner Sterling Marlin. Bill Parsons, his first run in the Open since '87, and Derek Cope, a former Daytona winner. Jimmy Spencer, runner-up at Talladega this month, and Bobby Labonte, the former Busch Series champion. In row 6, Wally Dallenbach finished 7th at Sears Point, and Ted Musgrave makes his second Open start. Greg Sachs, 3rd here a year ago. Lake Speed, runner-up in '87. Bobby Hillin Jr., former winner at Talladega, and Rich Bickle, top driver at nearby Concord Speedway. Kenny Wallace, one of the top rookie crop, and Dave Marcus, the veteran. Hutch Strickland, 2nd last year, and Jimmy Horton, his 5th appearance. Dick Trickle won this race 3 years ago, and P.J. Parnelli Jones Jr. in the Harry Melling car. Row 12, John Krebs from the Winston West Series, and Ken Schrader had trouble in qualifying. He's way back in 24. T.W. Taylor from the Sportsman Division, and veteran independent Jimmy Means. Jerry O'Neill entering his 4th Winston Open, and Johnny Chapman, a rookie. Former ARCA champ Bill Venturini has scratched Norm Benning from Pennsylvania. James Hilton, who won Talladega in '72, and Jerry Hill, his first Charlotte start. Chad Little, new race team for Redskin quarterback Mark Rippon, will start last. 33 cars scheduled to take the green. There are 32 lined up. Bill Venturini crashed this afternoon in practice, transported to Cabarrus Memorial Hospital where x-rays proved negative. Car's torn up. He will not start the race tonight. Charlotte Motor Speedway is a unique facility. It's 1.5 miles around, not a tri-oval like Daytona or Talladega. 2 doglegs. It's a quad oval, they call it. Turns are banked 24 degrees. 5-degree banking to the straights for drainage. Front stretch, nearly 2,000 feet. The back stretch much shorter. Of course, the front stretch includes that double dogleg you see as you look at turn number 1. Half of this facility is in Concord, North Carolina, but the office is in Harrisburg, right next door. $193,000, the potential awards in the Winston Open. They'll go 50 laps. Dick Trickle holds the race record set 3 years ago. Well, 50 laps with everything to win and not much to lose. Here's a look first at the weather. 71 degrees, low humidity, wind out of the north. Supposed to get down to about 52 tonight, but clear. No chance of rain. Well, Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, is this a nothing held back kind of show?
Mike, I think you're going to see everybody just go for broke because, like you say, they've got to finish in the top 5, need to get in the race. And that weather forecast you just gave is critical. These guys are guessing right now with the temperature coming down, how to set these cars up. It's going to be just all out for 50 laps.
Well, I can tell you, 5 open spots to get into the Winston. These guys have a special incentive. I think it's going to be one of the wildest races we've watched in a long time.
Well, you'll not only be watching, you'll be riding along in the DuPont Chevrolet out of the Hendrick Motorsports stable. Jeff Gordon, his face cam mounted on the right windowsill. And he'll have a roof cam looking, he hopes, back at the competition. Out the back, that's Rick Mast just behind him as he starts up there alongside of Brett Bodine. That's James Harvey Hilton, 1972 Talladega winner, getting a little push shove and a start. James going to have to come from deep in the field to try to qualify for the All-Star race tonight. New sponsor for Hilton Dial Pay. Nice to see that car filled up with lettering.
Mike, you were talking about Jeff Gordon sitting on the pole. We're talking about taking you for a fast ride with his cameras. He's in the Winston Open, but his car was fast as any car in the Winston. He's had the fastest car here all week in practice, so he's certainly got a car getting the job done right here.
Gordon, you remember, had a shot to win the Daytona 500. Impressive feat for a rookie. Of course, he set an all-time record for Busch Series poles last year before moving up to the senior circuit of stock car racing. Oldsmobile safety car leads them around in this field. 18 Fords, 9 Chevrolets, 4 Pontiacs, 1 Oldsmobile. That's Norm Benning out of Pennsylvania.
Got some good quality cars in this race. Some of the guys win regularly on the circuit in the past are in this race, so it's good cars trying to come to the front.
1 lap they'll be racing.
You know, last night Rick Wilson was one of the fastest cars also in the petty entry, so it's going to be interesting.
He and Jeff Gordon hooked up and drafted for about 10 or 12 laps, 1 in front, 1 in back, and then they switched it off. And they were one of the quickest combinations of any cars in this field. Brett Bodine thought he had a strong shot at the pole, just narrowly missed the Gordon qualifier. Now, the man deep in the field to watch will be Kenny Schrader. Coming up here on the outside of row number 12 in a white and green Kodiak Chevrolet. There he is. Schrader had a shot at the pole, but going into turn number 1, put the left front wheel down on the flat, down on the track apron, and we thought he was going for the wall.
Anybody that didn't have the experience he had would have lost the car. I mean, it made a right turn.
Schrader saved it, and he will start 24th. We'll keep an eye on it. This place is packed. The backstretch grandstand, a few seats in the bottom rows, but the front stretch side is filled to capacity. The suites, the Speedway Club, this is the race everybody wants to be at.
And the garage.
Yes.
The garage was full today.
The memory of last year's finish, all too fresh. It wasn't just the finish, it was a great night of racing. And it begins right here with the Winston Open. 50 laps. Green flag. Jeff Gordon's barely in the gear line. Now as they hit top gear, Brett Bodine is going to drop in, and they'll have a 2-car length margin on the rest of the field.
They would like to have that all night. There are a couple of guys would like to get away from this pack. They're going to transfer 5 cars. You'll see these guys try to work and get away.
Our aerial helicopter camera will give you some play-by-play shots tonight, courtesy of the folks at Ray Bestis. Here they come to complete lap number 1. Now you see how this is a quad oval. There's the first dogleg, little short straightaway here at the start-finish line. And there's the second. And Jeff Gordon leads this field.
Mike, you see the first 5 cars there in line. There's a lot of drafting on this racetrack. You run fast enough to really feel the draft here. When these guys running single file, these other cars running side by side, they'll drop back even more again.
Full speed for this race, 178 miles per hour. We're watching Bodine second, Mast third, and Rick Wilson in the 44 of the Petty car, 4th. A little further back in the field, that's Ted Musgrave up high in the U.S. Air Ford, and Wally Dunlap.
We've got 3 breasts through this trioval. Watch, they come through here. They've got to get sorted out, at least 2 wide. There they go. They got back in line as they go down to the corner.
Man on the inside was Lake Speed, that blue car, 83. Speed had a lot of speed in practice yesterday.
Ted Musgrave we saw get caught on the outside. He's still on the outside lane in the 55 car. It's Bobby Hillen in the 90 right under him. The cars really drift up right there, buddy. They almost get together. We'll see Musgrave really moved him up high on the track.
Yeah, the groove's not up where he was at. I promise you, he wanted to get down in a hurry.
Kent Schrader has moved to 18th. Started 24th.
Yeah, Schrader's not going to have the luxury of taking it easy. This short a race, he's really going to have to be on the road, and he is. We see him in this shot right here on the outside, passing Kenny Wallace as we go into 3rd turn.
That's Greg Sachs there, leading Lake Speed through the corner there. Greg's been running super good through practice also.
Donald back to the Spencer. Greg Sachs, Lake Speed. Bobby Labonte, the Max car. There's Hillen. And there's Schrader in that picture to the right side. Right there with Ted Musgrave. Here comes Schrader.
You know, Schrader doesn't need to run up on 2 cars side by side because he'll have to follow for a while. He's going to want one of these cars to go ahead and clear. We see Hutt go by. Watch Schrader jump down in the bottom.
Ken Schrader moving up. Meanwhile, lead battle is tightened up. Jeff Gordon in 24, the DuPont car. The Quaker State 4. That's Brett Bodine, 26. And Rick Mast, the number 1. Skoll Chevrolet.
You know, Neil, if they're smart, they'll stay in line like that because they're actually breaking the draft on the cars behind them.
Yeah, they'll stay in line right to the last few laps, and then it's going to get exciting. But I don't, you know, we heard him talking about the tire speed falling off a little bit. These guys are going to have to be careful of their pace, or they'll kill the tires, and they'll lose some speed. So they're going to have to pace themselves a little bit, and the other pack can catch them.
Right, there's every possibility this race will go 50 laps under green. No pit stops, no caution flags. 5 drivers transfer into the Winston, the All-Star race tonight. Right now, the man on the bubble in that 5th spot is Michael Waltrip. Looking at the leaders, Schrader has moved from 24th to 14th position.
He's picking them off just about one. He goes about 1 car lap under them.
And here's Schrader underneath rookie Bobby Labonte in the Bill Davis Maxwell House Ford. Hut Strickland, the red car, the McDonald's car, trying to move up. 13th spot for Schrader. He needs 8 more.
You see Hut Strickland make the same move to get under Labonte when Schrader got him out there on the outside.
5 drivers will transfer. 43 laps to go. Schrader could have sat on the pole. Had a front row quality car. Almost lost it into the wall in qualifying.
Well, Mike, that's what he was doing. He was going for the poles. And as they go in the first turn, you can see the white line as these guys turn off in here. White line on the left. Schrader actually got the wheels below that, as you said, trying to get a quick lap in and shot him up the racetrack. And like Buddy was talking about, he did an excellent job of staying on the wall.
That's Labonte moving up, and he's got Greg Sachs behind him. That bright yellow Maxwell House car, Jimmy Spencer on the outside, number 12.
Yeah, I noticed Jimmy's moving up on the racetrack. I think he's got a lot of push in that car. Maybe it'll pay off later on, but right now he's having trouble staying on the bottom of the racetrack.
Sorry, I said Labonte, that's late speed. In 83. Look at his crew. Well, he's got a good car in practice. Didn't qualify too well. He was 14th in qualifying.
Buddy was talking about pushing these race cars. I heard a lot of the crew chiefs questioning, is it going to get tighter? Is it going to get looser? Boy, if you got the turn 4, there's with a 44 car, Rick Wilson right up against the wall. Almost got in the wall. Lost a lot of ground on the racetrack.
He had a little help, maybe, Neil. I think he and Sterling Marlin got together going into 3. Sterling was on the low side, went on by, and Rick had to get way out of it. Keep it away from the wall. He's battling Wally Dolleback now, and here comes late speed. Let's have another look at what happened up there at turn 3.
Okay, he looks like he's just coming through the corner perfectly well. Blake comes up behind him.
This is live action. Now let's see it. Let's have a look at it.
I think this is now.
This was then. Okay. There's Sterling Marlin underneath Rick Wilson.
Rick, back end broke loose on the car. He ran up, almost got into it.
Okay, what he did there, he went down in the corner too hard, and he's gaining on the car in front of him. He slammed the brakes on it, transferred all the weight to the front of the car, and made the back end extremely loose.
I can't help but think he's also dealing with a loose condition, too. He's losing so much ground right now. When he gets around somebody, the back end's trying to get out from under him with the car. So he was exceptionally quick in practice, but the car might be getting a little bit loose with him.
2 cars are backing up pretty badly in the field. Rick Wilson is one of them. The other is Hut Strickland. Wilson's followed from 6th to 10th. Jeff Gordon's your leader. Brett Bodine is 2nd. Rick Mast is 3rd. Mike Waltrip's up to 4th. And Sterling Marlin is right now in the final transfer spot, 5th. Derek Cope is 6th.
Wow, look at this shot. You talk about a car moving along.
Back past James Hilton. Just taking little bites out of the wheel, buddy.
Man, I tell you, that makes you homesick there. I'd like to do that again for a little while anyhow.
That's the good part, to make you homesick. Look out the rearview mirror and see if all of the chases you never get under those conditions again.
4th place. Sterling Marlin, the very best Ford of the Stavola brothers, going to move underneath Mike Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac. That's 4th place, and it puts Waltrip on the bubble. He's got a good history of qualifying for the Winston through the Open.
Yeah, and every one of these Winston Opens, Michael really had a good race car. They haven't had the speed they wanted all week long. I felt like in the race his car would be good, but it looks like he's losing a little bit of ground here.
Derek Cope, one spot away. Marlin up to fourth. Blue and white Ford. The yellow car is Mike Walter, fifth. Back up front, Brett Bodine has closed the gap as they lap past Norm Benning of Pennsylvania.
You know, Jeff and Brett are moving away from the field because they're not racing each other. They're staying in a tight draft, and most of the other cars are trying to run by themselves. I noticed the one car, Rick Mass, he's dropping back quite a bit, but he don't have any help.
Let's go to the Jeff Gordon pit. Here's Randy.
Well, possibly a little bad news for everybody else. Speaking about Jeff Gordon, he came over the radio talking to his crew chief. Ray Abraham said the car is a little loose right now, but as the race goes on, I think it'll get a little better. So as good as Jeff's running, he thinks the car's going to get better.
If it gets too much better. One car, a lot of smoke out of turn 4. Greg Sachs, the Country Time Ford.
I'm
from the right front, huh?
Looks like the right front wheel area is where the smoke's from. I don't know if he touched somebody, got a wheel rubbing, or maybe a wheel bearing or something in the car, but a lot of smoke off the right front wheel.
I can tell you one thing, you won't be out there very long with that much smoke coming off the right front, Willie Neal.
Now, if it's rubbing a tire or something, it'll blow in just a few laps.
Spotters will see that come up on the road. Here's Sachs come around one more time. No trace of that smoke this time.
You know, the only thing I could think for it to go away, Bill, brake. Maybe he got on the brake and blew an O-ring out of the right front caliper, dumped some fluid out on it because it's gone away now.
Do you use a lot of brake here?
You don't want to, but sometimes you have to. If you get up in that loose stuff and that's the only way to slow it down, you better use it.
You drive so hard off in the corner here, just like we saw the 44 car run up on someone a while ago. You make a commitment diving in, and if you have to jab the brakes on. There's Schrader. He's really coming by the 44 on the inside.
Look how close to the bottom of the racetrack he was running in the middle of the corner there. That car is handling super good.
Ken Schrader up to 11th place. He started 24th. 18 of 50 laps complete. And up front, it's still Jeff Gordon. There's the margin, first to second. Brett Bodine in second place. In third, Rick Mass. Fourth, Sterling Marlin. Fifth is Michael Waltrip. Derek Cope is one spot away. Then Wally Dallenbach, Lake Speed. We'll be right back. You're riding with the leader, Jeff Gordon. We are 21 laps into the Winston Open. The first 5 finishers transfer into Stock Car Racing's All-Star Tilt tonight, live on TNN. A lot of smoke out of car number 63, Norm Benning. Looks like he will call it a night. Gordon, your leader. Bodine in second. That's Brett Bodine, Rick Mass, Sterling Marlin, and Mike Walter on the bubble. Ahead of Derek Cope, Lake Speed, Wally Dallenbach, Bill Parsons, and now up to 10th place, Ken Schrader. This car is on rails.
Yeah, when we saw Gordon working the steering wheel just a minute ago, there goes real loose right there. I was just hitting the wall. Oh. When he was jerking the wheel, like I was going to say, it looked like he had a loose condition and trying to catch the car continuously through the corner. We were watching him in. He drove off in the corner, and the back end just came out from under the car. He's fixing to climb out of it. He's okay.
Caution flag. Brett Bodine picks up the lead. Well, if he was on rails, that's yesterday's train coming in.
Yep, there he goes. He's called on the radio on the steering wheel, so he's okay.
The Simpson gloves, full fire suit, all that Butler built seating equipment in that car. Release steering wheel, all of it now of no further use.
And one angry young man, I guarantee you, because he had everything going. He just can't make little errors. You know, he was running really good.
Let's show you what happened to our race leader, the man who led every one of the first 22 laps.
Well, he goes down in the corner just like every other lap. The car actually breaks loose before he ever got into the corner. Did you notice that, Neil?
Yeah, looked like the back end came around. I think he had called him and told him he had a loose condition, and it must have been getting worse instead of better. You know, I was concerned myself when they said it's going to get better. Usually a loose condition gets to be a good bit of a handful before the race is over, but it looked like it just broke loose under him.
Let's have it from another angle.
Okay, he's already got the wheels cut before he gets in the corner there, so it was loose going down into the corner. That's definitely a loose condition for some reason.
You know, we saw the tires. We had a good shot. All 4 wheels still had air in them when they first turned off in. There's no doubt they're flat now because he's sliding on those things, blowing them out. But it looked like when he turned around, he had air in it. Maybe the right rear was low.
Yeah, I wonder if that right rear was down before he got up in the wall. We'll find out later. Here's Ken Schrader, who had moved up to 10th place, getting 4 tires. As are most of the leaders. Brett Bodine, there's the right side's done. The Kenny Bernstein crew comes around to the left side. Big chassis change on Rick Mast's car right behind Bodine. And Schrader is going to follow Sterling Marlin down pit road and Brett Bodine. And he will be the 3rd place car when we go back to green. Great pit stop for Ken Schrader. And quickly, things change in the Winston Open. The Nashville Network's exclusive live coverage of the Winston is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We are under caution for Jeff Gordon's crash up in turns 3 and 4. They're cleaning that up right now. And we're going to go for a special report. Safety manufacturer Bill Simpson, former racer himself, has a condominium at the Speedway in Indianapolis. Katie?
It does feel like Indianapolis, but no, as you scan these faces up here in this suite, you're not losing your mind. We are still in Charlotte. We have with us up here, we got Jim Williams, Stan Barrett. We have, of course, Bill Simpson, the safety wear wizard. Also, Chip Ganassi is here, owner of the car on the pole for the Indy, and, of course, Danny Sullivan. Now, guys, why here? Why are you here instead of at Indy?
Well, we've all qualified. We wanted to come down, see a great show, and they said this is the place to see it.
Boy, I'm telling you, you're getting one tonight. An honest answer from an honest man. We'll watch you race next weekend. Back to Mike now.
Thanks, Katie. We are in Charlotte. Those are the Turn 1 condominiums here at the Speedway. Packed crowd. You see a few little glints of sunlight left, but pretty soon the forces of darkness will take over Charlotte Motor Speedway as they did last year. And already the leader's been snake bit. Jeff Gordon led every lap and crashed. Derek Cope did not make a pit stop, nor did T.W. Taylor, who's graduated out of NASCAR Sportsman Division here. Sterling Marlin led the parade off of pit road ahead of Brett Bodine and Ken Schrader. Let's have a look from in-car, from Jeff Gordon's car. Watch and listen. The race car and our camera. We are back to green. Taylor drops down to the low side as Derek Cope scoots away from the field. The Bojangles car out in front. Cope did not stop as the rest of the leaders came in under caution. Taylor way slow down low, as is James Hilton. Blake Speed came into the pit 6th, but he came out 16th. There's a long way to go. Sterling Marlin revests his brakes forward, and look at Kenny Schrader, a great pit stop. Put Schrader up in 4th, make that 3rd place. These fresh tires mean a lot as they go by Derek Cope.
Yeah, we saw Cope stay out to get track positioning, but the new tires are worth more than track positioning in a sprint like this. And we see the yellow car of Cope falling back, and the guys that put the new tires on coming to the front.
Derek up the racetrack. Mike Walton is back into 4th. Rick Mast is 5th. And here comes the Bear.
Bear's on through. I tell you, he runs a lot of right front spring. I know how they set this car up, and he has to run deep into the corner. So you watch him when he goes down in the corner and look at that. The ground he picks up on all these cars.
Marlin, Bodine, and Schrader. Field streams into turn number 1. Let's go down to the Ken Schrader pit.
Well, Mike, I'm here in the Bears Den, and I'm standing with Ken Howe, the crew chief. What a great pit stop you guys had, and he's doing a super job on the racetrack.
Yeah. You hope for days like that everything goes right. The guys did a great job. Kenny's trying. I know he's trying.
You got that break you needed on that caution. You hate to see it happen, but still, that's what you needed, wasn't it, Ken?
Yeah, it came just the right time. We pretty much used that stuff up to get to where we did. So, yeah, that was a good break. Just cross our fingers now.
Well, I think Schrader's going to do the job, and this is an exciting pit crew.
Here he comes. Looking to the low side on Brett Bodine. Not enough room that time into turn number 3.
Well, he's looked low. He hasn't been able to make the move. Schrader's not going to give up. He's got it up under and down through this double dog leg. When he comes out the second one, he should have enough lead on him to be able to hold him off in the corner.
Well, he definitely got the preferred line. You see Brett just back off. He knows he's getting in the Winston. He's not going to fight anybody for position right now.
Sterling Marlin on the point. You're watching second on back. Schrader in the white car. Kodiak Chevy of Rick Hendricks. Kenny Bernstein's breaker stays 4th, and Brett Bodine in 3rd. Mike Waltrip Driving for Chuck Ryder, the Pennzoil Pontiac, and Rick Mann, Skoll Chevrolet. Jimmy Horton takes his car to the garage area as we complete lap 32. 18 to go.
See Sterling leading the race. He's ran really good in these opens. Got the car out front right now with a good pit stop.
Sterling won the Winston Open in 1988, went on to finish second in the Winston after starting 19th. So, as Buddy Baker suggested at the top of the show, it can be done.
Just a good indication of the quality of car that has to come to the Winston through the Winston Open. Good car all the way back through the field.
Let's get down to Randy Pemberton. He's standing by with the man who was the pole sitter and led the first part of this race, Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff's trying to get back to his race car right now, but Jeff, did you feel anything and what happened?
No, I mean, the car was driving beautiful. It was a little bit loose, you know, off the corner, but it was fine getting in. And, you know, I mean, I probably drove in easier that time than I did any other time. And, you know, I don't know what happened. I mean, the car just started to break loose and boom, it went. Had no clue it was going to do it.
You radioed earlier that the car was loose. Did you think it was going to get better and it didn't?
Well, yeah, I thought it was going to get better, and I think it would have, but, I mean, I wasn't driving it. I kept driving it easier and easier as we went on.
Okay, well, of course, Jeff very upset. He was expecting to run that car in the 600 next week. They'll have to do a lot of work on it back at the shop.
You see at this point that right rear tire is flat. Might it have been flat going into the corner?
Mike, all I can tell you is it looked strange. It didn't look like it was supposed to happen. And he said he was loose off the corner, and he was going in, the car was going perfect, and all of a sudden he just turned right. I don't know, maybe something broke on the car.
Man, something you got to weigh into it. This guy might be a rookie, but he's not a rookie at driving at these racetracks. I can't help but think something out of the ordinary did happen for a guy like Jeff Gordon, the car to get out from under him that quick. You know, you could see it in his face. He was puzzled what happened.
Here's our Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa because there are no unimportant parts. Here's the way they were at halfway. Right now, Sterling Marlin on the point. There's the lead he has over the Bear,
But
Kenny Schrader.
The point is narrowing down. Schrader is coming after him.
Yep.
Let me tell you, Schrader's not the kind of guy that's going to be content. Hey, I'm second. I'm going to be in the Winston. He figures if I'm first, I'll be one notch further ahead in the Winston. So if he can catch him, he's going to try to pass him, I believe.
Schrader told me something the other day. He's never finished worse than fourth in the Winston. I guarantee you he's going to be a factor.
He said, didn't he tell you he could win more money than anybody by having to run in the Open and transfer up?
He was planning on it.
Hey, wait a minute. I saw that qualifying lap. He didn't plan on that.
No, sir. No.
He flirted with the old wall on that one.
You can't plan that.
Schrader's car is so good, I don't doubt that once he comes up on the 8, he might try him outside. He's looked at the outside. He might want to test that car out there to see if it can run outside for later in the night. This is also a good test session. They've actually got a better effort to prepare their car for the Winston than the other guys because they're running under these race conditions.
That's right. These 5 drivers are no more than the 15 that are already qualified. 13 laps to go in the Winston Open. 5 drivers will transfer. We asked Dale Earnhardt if the Winston finish could be as exciting as last year.
Well, hopefully it'll be a little different scenario and I can come across first. But, you know, it's always an exciting race, and they put it in under the lights, and it really got a lot more exciting. So, yeah, I hope the excitement keeps happening here.
Eight laps to go in the Winston Open, live on TNN at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Bear has come out of hibernation. As you watch from these views from the Ray Bestis camera in our chopper. Ray Bestis, the best in brakes, giving you these views. That's the separation. Kenny Schrader back to Sterling Marlin. Schrader came from 24th to the lead in 39 laps. Nobody has yet won the Open from further back than 11th starting spot. Sterling did that in 1988.
He did it in 2 ways. He ran exceptionally well on the track when the race first started to move up, and then his victory pull off a great stop, and then Schrader had 3 cars left to pass. So good team effort to get the car up front.
And the Bear is hungry.
He better go on and stay hungry because he could get out of there in a hurry.
Here's Rick Wilson back in 11th spot. That was Rick second. Remember, only 5 cars transfer, and right now, that will be Schrader, Sterling Marlin, Brett Bodine, and trouble a car hard in the wall coming out of turn number 4.
Dave Marcus. Well, I saw Marcus look like he broke loose going down in turn 3. Really got in the wall hard.
Tremendous amount of damage. In front of that car, Pronto Auto Parts has signed on with him for this race.
Well, I tell you, the corner speed is so strong at this racetrack. You're going so fast in the corner when something happens, I mean, you're going to slap the wall pretty good lick.
Let's have another look and see what happened as we're under caution with 5 laps to go.
See Marcus run up. It's almost another set of circumstances like before, buddy. He runs up on him.
That car just turned right there, and then it got loose. And up and... Wow.
Oh, man, folded right, run up on the car.
Okay, what happened there? He turned it, it got loose. He had the wheels cut to the right, and they took a set. And back towards the wall he went.
It's hard to make these cars turn left, but they will turn right. Once you crank it to the right a little bit to overcorrect the car, it's going to go up there.
There's the aftermath.
Man, that's cubic dollars you see when you see that fire flying out of the back.
Oh, yes.
Now, it'd be nice if he had 10 or 12 cars in the shop and could afford that wreck, but he can't.
It's tough on the independents.
Yes. We'll be back with more of the Winston Open after this. Green flag, 3 laps to go. Sterling Marlin takes the lead on the restart. We're going to watch 5th as well. That's the last transfer spot. Rick Mast has it. And Phil Parsons has passed Wally Donald back to 1 it. 2 to go.
Well, Schrader got a pretty good start on the restart. Yep. And the 8 car of Sterling Marlin just drove under him up off turn 2. Schrader taking a look now.
All right, Derek Cope and Brett Saxon make stops the tires under caution. They're out of it. Rick Mast in 5th. He's got 4 car lengths on Phil Parsons trying to close in. There are the front 4. Marlin, Schrader, Bodine, Mike Waltrip, and Rick Mast. White flag. Here comes Parsons in that yellow car, the Mannheim Auctions car, trying to pull up on Rick Mast. That's 6th place Parsons and 7th Dallenbach. Last lap. The black car is in the last qualified spot. That's the one that counts. Winning here just means you transfer on. It is Marlin coming off the corner. Schrader with him. Bodine 3rd. Mike Waltrip and Rick Mast is going to hang on. He will be 5th. Transfer on to the Winston. It's the 3rd victory in the Winston Open for Sterling Marlin. He and Mike Waltrip have had a stranglehold on this race. Schrader pulls up alongside.
You know, even though Schrader didn't win the race, you can bet he learned a lot when he goes in now. This is where it's key to running this race. Now these guys, if the 5 are going to transfer, really got a feel for the racetrack. Go back and make some adjustments.
5 drivers will move on to the Winston. Sterling Marlin, Ken Schrader, Brett Bodine, Mike Waltrip, and Rick Mast. Phil Parsons will be the first alternate, then Wally Dallenbach. More of Stock Car Racing's All-Star Evening coming up. Sterling Marlin has won the Winston Open. He, Ken Schrader, Brett Bodine, and Mike Waltrip have all been in the Winston before. It'll be the first time in the All-Star event for Rick Mast, who finished 5th tonight. A look at Charlotte Motor Speedway as darkness descends. Gets a little dark here, and those 1.5 million candle power of Musco lights begin to illuminate the speedway. And up in turn number 4, high atop that grandstand where the lights are lined up, are the Winston Cup spotters. And who's that in the midst of them? Katie Haas.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I used to be a spotter back home at a local track in Nashville, but nothing to the magnitude of what we have up here atop Charlotte. These guys right here, when the flag is green, that's all they're looking at is one car. They're not going to pay attention to anything else. The spotters look ahead for the driver. They look outside in as the driver looks inside out. They let the driver know what groove other cars are running, what he should be running, when it's safe to pass, various other things that the driver cannot tell. These spotters are the ones to let them know. It's a very important mission that they have up here, and they take it very, very seriously. So I don't think that they could drive without these spotters.
Now, Katie, did you give your driver race strategy when you were a spotter?
I did, from standing on top of a little dinky enclosed trailer from the one turn that I could see, yes.
Yeah, race strategy. Here's the wreck. Oops, you're in it.
Yeah, that's it, Mike.
It's gotten a little more sophisticated now. Let's go to Victory Lane. Glenn Jarrett's there.
And we're standing by with Sterling Marlin. He's without his race car here, but the Ray Besser Ford performed flawlessly. You got a break there and got back in on that restart.
Yeah, it didn't look like he cleaned his tires off good, and he wiggled down in the corner, and I got up under him, and he got loose and got by. He's going to be tough in the Winston, and I think we are too. So we worked off hard, and I'm proud for the crew, proud for Ray Bessis, and we're going to come back and try to win this thing.
What is it about Sterling Marlin in this race? It's 3 times now.
I don't know. We always was talking cars this season. The Winston Open cars are as fast as, or faster than the Winston cars. So it's a tough race, and we're going to be after this Winston race.
Well, again, congratulations. Good luck in the Winston. Now let's go to Randy with the guy that just squeezed in.
Well, Rick Mast sitting here. It's very, very hot in this car, and I know it was a little hotter because you had a little push, but you made it.
Yeah, we lucked out and made it to the end. You know, the guys were, Wally and those guys were really dogging on me pretty hard, but, you know, our car was good in the daytime, and last night we kind of went to junk. Today we were good in the daytime. We didn't know what to expect tonight. I think now we got a better handle on it. We got guys changing springs, we're changing rubbers, we're changing track bars, doing everything to try to get this car better for the Winston.
Wow, well, there's where it could be an advantage to be in the Winston Open. Rick Mast, the crew all over the car, they're going to change a few things. Heck, he could be good enough to win in the Winston.
What do you think, buddy? Would you like to have the chance to run 50 laps here before you have to go for all that money?
Oh, it's definitely, you know, Neil already pointed that out. This is very important. These guys actually have a little bit of an edge on the guys that hadn't run today in a competitive race. So they do. You heard him say he's changing everything but the driver in the car.
That's true. Well, of the drivers that qualified for the Winston by winning recent events on the Winston Cup Tour, they had a unique qualifying procedure. 3 consecutive laps with a pit stop in the middle. So fittingly, the man who won the pole did it with his pit crew. And here's Glenn.
Okay. Tony Glover, the crew chief of the number 4 Kodak Chevrolet, on behalf of Miller Genuine Draft, for presenting you with the Pit Crew Award for the Winston. That was a great pit stop.
I tell you, it sure was. It was a total team effort. All the boys that went across the wall did a heck of a job, and you know, the rest was up to Ernie. And you know, when you leave something like that up to him, you always know he's going to do his job. I'd like to thank Winston for putting this show on, and I'd like to thank Miller Genuine Draft for this award.
Congratulations again, and good luck in tonight's race.
Thank you very much.
Tony Glover, that pit stop really made the difference. There he goes walking off as Sam Malone did Thursday night in the last episode of Cheers. I always thought he'd get Kirstie Alley. You know, I didn't think Shelley Long now, but I don't know. We got some predictions to make later on. That won't be one of them, right?
That's it.
Results of the Winston Open. Sterling Marlin, the winner. Ken Schrader finishing second. Brett Bodine, Mike Waltrip, and Rick Mast. They're the guys that move on to the All-Star race. Phil Parsons will be the alternate in case somebody can't start. Wally Dallenbach, Blake Speed, Bobby Hillen, and Ted Musgrave in the 10th spot. 11th went to Rick Wilson, Hut Strickland at 12th, Bobby Labonte, Dick Trickle, and Jimmy Means finishing 15th. P.J. Jones, his first ever trip to Charlotte Motor Speedway in a stock car, gave a good account of himself. Greg Sachs, John Chapman, Derek Cope made that late stop for tires, as did Sachs, then John Krebs in 20th spot. T.W. Taylor up from the Sportsman Division, rookie Kenny Wallace, Rich Bickle, James Hilton, and Dave Marcus ending up in the fence. Followed by Jimmy Spencer, who made a pit stop under green, Chad Little, Jerry O'Neill, Jimmy Horton, and Jeff Gordon, who had the pole in the early race lead but wandered into the wall. At about lap 22, Norm Benning and Jerry Hill. Well, the bear is awake and he's hungry. Kenny Schrader's down there getting ready to go into the Winston.
Well, Mike, he's still hungry. Ken, you had him covered. What happened on that restart?
Driver error again. Same reason we had to start in the back with the thing to start with. I didn't keep my right front tire cleaned out good. Went down into one. Screwed up track a little bit. Sterling got right behind me. Old car got the wagging the tail, and you know, I just couldn't give her full throttle. And Sterling had a big hole when he come off there.
You got to feel good, though, about the way that race car feels. That thing was some kind of rocket ship.
Yeah, the little car's running good. I figured if we could just run top 5 and not tear up anything, we could be okay for the end of the night.
All right, we're going to show look at the screen up there. We're going to show what happens here. So describe it as you feel it.
I felt a whole lot of this. You didn't see it. He just, I left it too big a hole. And then right about there, it's decision time. So, okay, Sterling, it's yours. Let's start worrying about top 5.
At that point, did you just say, well, you know, I'm in the Winston, let's just hang on here. If I get a shot at him, I may take it, but what were you thinking?
Well, I knew we had a little bit of room on third there, so I wasn't going to put myself in a situation for the difference $9,000 between first and second of going home.
A lot more money at stake for Ken Schrader and Winston. Good luck. We'll let you go get ready. Let's go back up top to Mike.
Thanks, Glenn. That's a good general, a guy who he may give up the battle to win the war. We'll find out. Kenny Schrader's had a lot of success in this event. There you see some of the lighting systems around Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is dusk here in the Carolinas, though as you've been watching the on-track action, the lights have been on since we started tonight. Hardly able to tell the difference down on the racetrack, and this place will be jewel lit as darkness descends. One Hot Night continues live from Charlotte Motor Speedway after this. Live TNN coverage of the Winston. He is brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. Pre-race ceremonies underway for the Winston. Let's go to Randy Pemberton with a man who led the race with 1 lap to go 1 year ago.
What do you think, Dale? You ready? You're sitting up here ready to take a little parade lap. How you feel about going in?
Well, it's about time to race here. Getting time, you know. Everybody's fired up and been working all week for it, and it's time now, as they say.
Do you ever get nervous at all going into a race? I mean, you've done it so many times.
Well, not the racing, you know, the hype before and all. You get in, you know, and really, you know, I just get excited about getting going, really. It's not nerves about racing. It's just getting excited about it, and can't wait till we get started here.
Good luck to you tonight. Mike Joy?
Randy, I think it's like anybody who's waiting to do what they want to do most. And that was the look on Dale Earnhardt's face. In case you were on Planet Mongo last year and didn't see it, let's refresh your memory. Here's the Haviland update of last year's running of the Winston. Last year's Winston was the first ever night race on a 1.5-mile super speedway. And it started with Davey Allison on the pole, Rusty Wallace alongside. The first 30-lap segment was highlighted by this melee. Dale Jarrett and Morgan Shepherd. Then Mike Waltrip behind them. See the smoke to the left of the screen? Waltrip gets on the brakes, but Hut Strickland got into him. On the restart, Davey Allison just walked away from the rest of the field, winning the first segment over Bill Elliott. Following a 10-minute intermission, Mark Martin's car wouldn't select a forward gear, so he backed it around to the pits. On the green flag, King Richard Petty gave the fans a thrill as he battled Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt for the lead. But Kyle Petty came to the front and won segment 2. After 10 minutes, the 10-lap shootout to decide it all, and look at him get 4 wide in the back straightaways, jockeying for position. Darrell Waltrip went to the infield, and that bump up and over the grass to asphalt transition sent him perilously close to the pace car. It bunched the field for the restart. Here they come. Last lap. Kyle Petty trying to get underneath Earnhardt. Earnhardt slides out of the lead. Off turn 4, Davey Allison had caught Petty, and they slide to the line. Allison winning, then slamming into the wall. $300,000 for Davey. Kyle took second, Kenny Schrader third, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott were the top 5. Oh, man, it was wild. They're pushing the cars out, and this is a particular moment of pride for these crews. They all live here in the Charlotte area, the hub of the sport. Their families, their friends are in the stands. It's their chance to shine. There's only one place on television every week, same time, same place. You can get your racing news. Race Day, special edition right now. Here's Pat Patterson.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. It's one hot night. It's been one hot afternoon as well. There was a lot of racing this afternoon at the Legends and the Sportsman's. Let's take a look at that right now. Think these Legend cars aren't built tough? Think again. There's Hank Parker putting his mount through a crash test. It passed. It's Jim Foster over in the wall. The winner's wave comes from Benny Ertel. He got the best of Jim France, Jack Compata, Ron May, and Jerry Dodd. With the 4 laps of green all the way with Sherry Minter collected Kurt Sheldonine, Fred Yelenick, and the race ended up under caution with Tim Bender, the flag-to-flag winner. And we take a look at the top 5. Benny Ertel comes home the winner. Jim France finishes second. Jack Compata finishes third. Ron May finishes fourth. And Jerry Dostie rounds out the top 5 in the Legends Series. Meanwhile, we have the finish of the Sportsman 100. Timmy Bender, 7-time snowmobile champion, wins the race. Peter Gibbons is second. David Smith is third. Paul Shaver is fourth. And Ronnie Sewell rounds out the top 5. And we want to remind you that on the pole for tomorrow's big Grand National race up in New Hampshire, or up in Nazareth rather, is Todd Bodine. He's the defending champion of that race. You'll get to see it live. You'll get to see that live tomorrow afternoon on TNN. So one hot night. It's ready to go. Let's go back now to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Pat. We'll see you Sunday morning and evening on Race Day, the only regularly scheduled racing program on any major network. And tomorrow at 1 p.m. from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the Lane Co. Stores 200. Neil, Glenn, and I will be flying up there tonight from Charlotte to bring it to you live right here on the network that brings you more Busch racing than everybody else combined, TNN. Here's Randy.
Well, Ernie Irvin chatting back and forth. Michael Waltrip and the rest of the guys from the Winston Open just pull up. Ernie's trying to figure out what to do with the race car because all these guys know already. Ernie, you think you got it right going in?
Well, I tell you, the car really ran good in the last practice, and we ran 4 laps today is what we ran, and just enough to get a plug check. We're going off of the way it was last night, and, them guys, they say they know what they need to do to it, but that doesn't mean they do, and we don't know what to do to ours either. We got 30 laps to figure out what we need to do for the next 30, and then we got 10 laps for the big bucks.
I'm sure you guys will figure it all out. Neil, buddy, you think these guys down here could try and throw Ernie a curve up there, maybe tell him that the track's going to tighten up or something on him?
I'd be working on him if I was down there, I can guarantee, and I know Neil would too.
You know, buddy, I said earlier, I can't believe as I walked through the garage, I heard crew chief saying, do you think it's going to tighten up? You think it's going to get loose? They're playing games, but I think in the back of their mind, they got a pretty good feel for what's going to happen.
Well, if it's anything like what happened last year, well, then again, that's why this place is full. 1.5 million candle power of lights and skydivers coming into Charlotte Motor Speedway as part of the pre-race here. This place is the most brightly lit item for hundreds of miles around, so it shouldn't be hard to find the landing pad.
Mike, I think you really touched on something a while ago. As we were racing while in the Winston Open, we went from daylight to dark, and you never could tell the difference. This racetrack is overlit. They've got so much lighting, it's actually more constant during nighttime than it is in the day. Stays the same as the race goes on.
And your focus is right on the asphalt and the grandstand. That's the brightly lit part of the facility. Everything else just kind of melts into the darkness. As the skydivers descend on the speedway, the cars are being pushed into position as the drivers have been paraded around the speedway in Oldsmobile convertibles.
As they're doing this, Mike, the cars that ran in the Winston Open are starting to come out. So they've carried those cars back. They've made their changes, and now they're bringing them in.
Well, let's go back down to Randy Pemberton down at the starting grid.
Rusty Wallace sitting here, all ready to go. You look kind of calm. How do you feel?
I feel calm. I've been in this deal 4 or 5 times now, and first time I got all psyched up and it doesn't do nothing. The second time I got all psyched up, doesn't do nothing. You just try to get yourself up for the game, but your car's got to be right. It's got a handle and everything, and I think I got a good car for tonight.
Well, he's practiced very fast. Rusty, show the fans what you have on your wrist. Everybody knows what you've done at Talladega and Daytona, of course, but Talladega was the big one.
Just a hand brace. It makes my hand a little stronger from the wreck at Talladega, and it works fine.
Hey, Randy,
so I just got to... I would like to get the doggone thing off, though. It is a little restricting, but I don't think it's going to hurt my performance tonight.
All right, Neil Bye wants to ask a question. Go ahead, Neil.
Randy, I've talked to Buddy Parrott, and he said it seems like this track is a little bit tougher than the road course was because he's pulling left. See if he's having a problem with that.
Neil was saying that it's a little bit tougher to pull left at this place than, of course, even the road course. Is it a little tougher on your hand here?
Well, he's right, because I've got a fairly slow steering box under, and I got to wrap my hand pretty far to the left to get a turn. And I've been working on the brace a lot, and I've got it just enough to get the job done. And I think it's going to be fine.
Okay, we're going to find out in a minute. The cars are rolling out, and the crowd's going wild.
Well, the first wave of skydivers represents the drivers from the Winston Open that transfer into the event. There's Mark Martin in the back of one of the convertibles being paraded around to the delight of 140,000 fans here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. One hot night continues after this. Welcome back live to Charlotte Motor Speedway as One Hot Night continues. So you think you'd like to be a Winston Cup driver and go through what they go through on a day-to-day basis? We followed the top 2 finishers from last year's running of the Winston all day today. And we spent a day with a night. Well, 2 of the nights of the Roaring Road.
Don't even think about it. Did you get that? Running down the road. Really same old, same old. Thank you, sir. Oh, I know it's well. Think I drive the line.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what I was saying.
I'm steady as a wall.
He almost rode my shoes, man. Hey, that close. That close.
One of these days. I can't deny that somewhere inside there's a wild man.
Fella yellow.
Don't you let it get out of hand. If I go crazy now and then, baby, you've got to understand.
Maybe a few fans around here, and these guys are all excited. Oh, thank you very much. An autograph from JBL.
Yeah, that's
wild man. Wound up so tight, but I know tonight I don't have to.
I gotta go to the driver's
back.
seat. Come right back here.
I can't deny that somewhere inside there's a wild man.
Yeah, it's time to go to the house. See you later.
A day in the life of a night. Seemed pretty full for both Kyle and Davey, and of course Ricky Van Shelton's hit there in the background. Fun deal. As the drivers are being paraded around Charlotte Motor Speedway, there's Davey, still smiling after a long day, as is Kyle Petty, just ahead. You can find out everything you ever wanted to know about Winston Cup racing, stuff we can't tell you about on our 800 number because we just don't have time. Watching Ed Jarrett and Inside Winston Cup Racing Sunday, 11 a.m. every Sunday here on TNN.
Mike, what was good about that, the producer of Inside Winston Cup's the guys that shot all that for us today, following two drivers around. They've been plenty busy.
They've been as busy as those two drivers have. Well, we're getting down to it as these convertibles will drop off their drivers up to the pre-race platform. Davey Allison, a lot bigger smile than he had after he won the Winston last year. If you've got questions about the running of tonight's event, we invite you to call in. Viewer mail live on TNN. Here's your toll-free number, 1-800-451-7331. We'll answer your question up here in the booth if it's appropriate, or pass it along to one of our pit reporters or our special reporters, Katie Haas and Ricky Van Shelton, around the Speedway. Questions we can't use, of course, we pass along to Inside Winston Cup Racing for use on their weekly show. But we do invite your calls and questions about our sport and about what's going on here tonight. Harry Gant.
I think one reason we see these drivers smiling so much, Mike, here's an opportunity, just like we saw Dale Earnhardt a while ago, said, hey, look, we've been hyping this thing. We've done all this practice, testing, everything. Now we're going to get to do what we want to do. Climb in that race car, buckle those things up. Even though there's a big crowd here, nobody wants to ride with them. They're going to finally get to be alone.
In just a few minutes. We've got race cars, and we've got an increasing group of touring buses for the NASCAR stars. We sent our tour bus expert over to have an up-close and personal look at what goes on there behind the garage area.
You know, I spend a lot of time in one of these tour buses, and it sure makes life on the road a lot easier. And that's something that the Winston Cup drivers are discovering for themselves these days.
Hey, Ricky Van Shelton, how you doing?
Good, Rusty Wallace. How you doing?
Hey, great. Come on into my home away from home.
All righty. Thank you. So, how's this like the old days? It's kind of different, ain't it, with a motorhome?
Oh, I tell you, it's a lot different than the old days. I mean, old days, we used to sit on the pickup trucks in the back of them and sit on the hoods of the cars, and you had the whole family out there. And but I tell you, nowadays, as popular as a sports guy, it's got a lot of fans out here. And, you know, I love the fans, but I like getting away every now and then and coming in with the family, sitting down, have dinner and have something to drink, and it's kind of a little time to get away.
My goodness, this neighborhood sure has grown. Let's go see who else is home. Well, Mark Martin's home. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm just fine.
We're just sitting here munching on a graham cracker here.
On a graham cracker?
Yeah.
Well, you sure have got a neat setup here. I tell you what, you got your TV in the back here in your motor home, and boy, I tell you, it sure has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really special. We spend so much time, you know, on the road and stuff, and gives them a warm place to go or a cool place to go, and Matt can play and family can come and visit and all.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to be the third one to copy this design. I'm going to put a TV in my base so I can sit outside and act like a big dog. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Ricky Van Shelton right now is about standing by, getting ready to do the national anthem here for the running of the Winston. Talking to some of his sound people, trying to get squared away there.
Good luck to you, Darrell.
Packed grandstand here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that VIP bus park, the admission over there is a little steep. It's kind of like the local yacht club. First of all, you have to have a pennant. You got to be a Winston Cup racer to park there. And those luxury buses start at about $600,000.
And then you can just spend as much as you want to dress them out, Mike.
And some folks do. Let's go down in the midst of that crowd to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Kyle Petty talking to his crew. He's got some guys running over. Kyle joking around. He seems a little loose. Kyle, you guys have worked on your car very hard today. Have you got it fixed? Have you got it right that you can win this race?
I don't know. We're closer than we were yesterday afternoon. We just had a tremendous pit stop yesterday, and that's why we qualified where we did. But, you know, John and those guys went back to the engine shop last night and did some stuff. I think it's better, a whole lot better than what we had yesterday, and those guys are really working hard. And, you know, we'll take what we get. We got a little bit better last year, but hopefully we'll get a little bit more this year.
Okay, that's the way it is in racing. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not so good, but we'll just have to wait and see how this unfolds.
Sometimes you're okay and get better.
Mike, we see Kyle adjusting that strap on his shoulder. Yep. He'll eventually hook that on his helmet. Get that on his helmet where to hold his head up with his speed through the corners.
Pre-race activity continues, gives us a chance to take this break from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Well, a long day for Davey Allison is about to turn into a fast one as you see the ribbon of light that encircles Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's go down to that crowd right to the left of your screen, down in the pre-race area. Randy Pemberton's with our defending champion.
Davey, it seems like this is about the only place you can find a little solace. You can take your time, get your thoughts together in the race car. Today you signed a lot of autographs, and in the garage area had some fun today.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I tell you, there's been a lot of people here for the Winston. It looks like it's going to be a real exciting event. Everybody seems to be running real good. So we're just kind of loose right now. We were loose in the garage today and signed a few autographs. By the way, that's a good-looking shirt you got on.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, Dave even signed one for me. I've been begging him for years.
I thought maybe you'd have to get everybody to sign that just for equal time, Randy. A few questions from our 800 number. How many laps they're running tonight? They'll run 30 laps. Gary called in from Tennessee. Then they'll run 30 laps. Then they'll run 10 laps, 3 segments. Finally, Don from New York wants to know, you guys had a great line for this. What do you mean when a car is loose?
Well, Neil said it funniest of anybody I've ever heard. He said when it's loose, you don't get to see the wreck. When it's pushing, you see the wreck.
Yeah, because you're going to drive straight into the wall.
That'll be it. Let's get out of Katie Haas, Ricky Van Shelton. Katie?
We are down here in the pits, right across from the flag stand, and Ricky, we're on, and I just want to see what your feelings are right now before you sing the national anthem for the cars, for the people, for everyone. How do you feel? Anything like, can you compare a pre-concert jitters to like a pre-race jitters, maybe?
No, I don't get the jitters, you know. I learned a long time ago I was going to mess up. And that's the only reason that you make a mistake is because, you know, you're afraid you're going to mess up. I'm going to mess up. I'm not afraid anymore.
No. He's so relaxed. It's unbelievable. But he's really pumped up about this whole thing. So get ready for it. The Winston is going to come at you live on TNN just in a few minutes.
Well, we're getting down to it. Jay from Nebraska called in, wants to know if anything was special done to make the cars show up at night. Yes, Motorsports Designs and some of the other decal companies have Scotch-Lite type decals on the car that reflect light. Bill Elliott has them, Dale Earnhardt has them, Jeff Bodine has them. You'll see them as the race gets going here.
Mike, and they're about 3 times the price of a normal decal, so they put out quite an effort for them to show up.
Yeah. There's a look at the Felix Sabati's suite, high atop one of the condos there, and some more of the lights that ring this speedway.
The Amigo Dome.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Very important. Rick from California wants to know about night practice compared to daytime practice, and do they practice at night for this race?
Oh, yeah, they definitely practice. You wear 2 or 3 cars out just getting ready for this race. You definitely practice at night.
They'll use the night practice, plus they also use the early morning hours when the track is cool, say from 9 o'clock to 10, right in that area, to simulate as it cools at night. So they pick the times they practice with these cars to get them ready for night racing.
Kent from New Mexico. Do they use a different engine for qualifying? Yeah, most of them do. We're going to go down trackside right now. Country music star, TNN regular, Ricky Van Shelton is about to get things officially underway and salute the greatest country in the world with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Mike, Ricky is just like a racer. He told us just the opposite of what he's going to do. He did not mess up. It was beautiful.
That was great.
Wow. If I was ever going to sing it, I'd want to sound just like that.
And I've heard you sing. The karaoke star of Fitzgerald's up in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
And if you're going to sing, I wish you
eagle?
did sound like that.
Well, it looks great, and they're about to go great. 20 cars set to go in Stock Car Racing's All-Star Tilt, the Winston, and we'll bring it to you live here on TNN. More from one hot night. Coming to you live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Right after these messages. Stay with us. In fact, start the VCR. If you missed last year's, you won't want to miss this one.
Gentlemen, to deliver those words we've waited all night for.
Let's go
Chief
trackside.
Executive Officer of Food Line, Mr. Tom.
We're headed, this Bill, we're headed
John, start your engines!
And with that, a week of preparation gets set to go here for 3 segments, 30 laps, then a 10-minute intermission, then 30 laps, then a 10-minute intermission, then the 10-lap shootout. Well, it's not a hot night on the thermometer, but it's about to get a hot night out on that asphalt. Ernie Irvin, pole sitter, Kyle Petty, runner-up last year in that thrilling finish. Harry Gant, the Bandit, looking for speed and success here at Charlotte. And the view down the field from the safety car. You're looking off the roof cam of Jeff Bodine's Motorcraft Ford. Boy, the Bodines have had quite a week. There's a look inside Mark Martin's car. And there you see those reflective decals on Jeff Bodine's Ford. What a week for the Bodines. Jeff wins at Sears Point. Buys the Alan Kulwicki team. Todd on the pole for tomorrow's race at Nazareth, PA. There's the last man in the field, Rick Mass. There's Brett Bodine and Mike Waltrip, who transfer from the Winston Open. 2 of the 5 guys that know what this track is like right now. Mark Martin, most intense man ever to strap into a race car. There's the roof cam you see just behind the windshield. Terry Labonte. Those ribs healed up from that crash at Talladega. He's set to go in the Billy Hagan Chevrolet.
Well, it's a good thing, too, Mike, because this track really puts a lot of G-force on you through the corners. That's not grandstands, folks. That is grass. They're overfilling the place now. They filled all the grandstands, and now they're just sitting on the hillside in the back straightaway.
That's turn 2. And an aerial salute to the drivers about to roll off here. Fireworks in the sky. That's nothing.
Man, I'm telling you.
The fireworks. The fireworks are going to be on the racetrack, buddy. They were last year.
I think what they did last year, they had them for after the race, and they were secondary after I finished, so they're going to use them early tonight.
You know, that just don't even look real, does it?
above us. But still, it kind of pales by comparison to what we saw here last year. The fireworks on the asphalt. Sears Die-Hard Batteries, with more power when you need it most, presents the starting lineup for the Winston. Ernie Irvan started 17th last year, but he's on the pole with a new qualifying record. Rusty Wallace, outside pole. Won this race in 1989 and won the national championship that year. Dale Earnhardt starts third, the Intimidator, the 1987 and 1990 winner of the Winston. Bill Elliott goes fourth. He won the Winston in 1986 when it was held at his home track, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Davey Allison, defending champion and going for 3 in a row tonight. Kyle Petty, runner-up in last year's spectacular finish. Dale Jarrett, winner of the Daytona 500 in a great race-ending duel with Dale Earnhardt. Darrell Waltrip starts 8th. He won the first Winston in 1985. Morgan Shepherd starts 9th. It's his 7th consecutive appearance in the All-Star race. Jeff Bodine finished 4th here in 87. He's a former Daytona 500 winner, 1986, and won last week at Sears Point. Ricky Rudd won Dover last year to get in the Winston. He finished 4th in this race last year. 12th, Harry Gant finished 2nd to Darrell Waltrip in the very first All-Star race. Terry Labonte, 13th. Winner of the Winston in 1988, former Winston Cup champ. Mark Martin finished 3rd in 1990. Won the 500 here at Charlotte last October. And Jimmy Hensley in the Alan Kulwicki racing car had a spin in qualifying, so he'll line up 15th. Next, the drivers for the Winston Open. The man who won it, Sterling Marlin, has had great success in the Open. Kenny Schrader thinks he can win it all tonight. Outsider 09, Brett Bodine. The last row, Michael Waltrip finished 6th in this race 2 years ago. And finally, Rick Mast makes his first career start in the Winston. A great show that you'll see every Sunday on TNN is Neil Bonnet's Winners. It gets you really inside, not just the technicalities, but the personalities of the sport of auto racing. And you'll see it every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on the Nashville Network. So Winners presents our panel of winners and not so winners to give their picks of who will win the Winston. Time to take our best shot. I got to start. Give me Dale Earnhardt. Buddy?
Ernie Irvan.
Neil?
A black car.
Oh.
3 of them at the end were black last year.
Katie and Ricky.
Ricky?
Well, Dale Earnhardt.
One of those D names. How about Darrell Waltrip?
Glenn Jarrett.
Without a trace of ambiguity, Dale's going to win the race.
Which one?
Dale Jarrett Hart.
Oh, Randy Pemberton.
I got to go with a Dale, too. I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but I got to go with Earnhardt.
He's starting 3rd, and he is the pick of the panel. Also the pick of the panel down in the press box, 1 floor below us. 30 laps, this first of 3 segments in the All-Star Tilt. 50,000 to win, 15,000 to second, 7,500 for third. And all these fans, when they came into the stands tonight, were handed a card to vote for whether we should take the finish of this first 30-lap segment, whether or not to invert it. They voted either to start the second half or second section straight up, winner starts first, or invert it. Put the 20th finisher first and put the winner last. We'll see how they vote when this one's over. You were watching from Jeff Bodine, and now you're looking back into the field. That's the rear bumper cam on Jeff Bodine, looking back at Harry Gant. Now you're with Mark Martin, looking out of the Valvoline Ford, the Jack Roush car, looking inside, and the roof cam shows pretty much what Mark sees out that windshield. He sees Harry Gant just ahead. And here's the mother-in-law cam, the backseat driver cam in Mark Martin's car. That's Jimmy Henson, just to his left. We're about to get to it. The pole sitter has won this race 3 straight years. Earnhardt in 90, Davey Allison the last 2 years. Ernie Irvan starts on the pole tonight. Safety car dives on pit road. Everybody's on their feet, except the 20 drivers with their foot hard on the right pedal We are under green. The 1993 Winston is underway. Ernie Irvan and Rusty Wallace. Nobody's going to give an inch down in turn 1. Irvan with the lead. Wallace second. Earnhardt's third. And they form out single file through the top 5.
Boy, what a shot. Look at that, man.
Here goes Bodine right outside, on the outside of Dale Jarrett. Matter of fact, he's passing several cars on the outside.
Jeff Bodine is flying his way up into 6th place, ahead of that Starling pack. Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip, Dale Jarrett just behind him. Bodine has caught the lead pack. You're riding with him.
The sponsor of the headers, Buddy Point, at the same time, I think they're dragging the header pipes as they hit those bumps in 1 and 2.
Yeah, they start out with 4 inches of clearance, but when they go in that corner, that thing pans out and the headers hit right on the ground.
Riding with Jeff Bodine in 6th place. Most recent winner on the Winston Cup Tour. And from our Ray Bestis brake cam, helicopter mounted high atop the speedway. Ernie Irvan carrying the colors of Kodak out front in the Morgan McClure Chevrolet. Rusty Wallace right with him. Now with Mark Martin trailing Darrell Waltrip and Dale Jarrett. Mark is 10th. Has Morgan Shepherd right with him.
Well, that car got to jump off that corner.
Looks like Jarrett's got caught on the outside and he's falling back a little bit. I noticed a big donut on the door. Somebody's got a wheel into the driver's door before we got this shot here. Having a little bit of problem dropping back.
Jeff Bodine went from 10th to 5th in 2 laps.
The reason he can do that, Mike, he is on fresh tires. That'll be tougher to do as he goes along and the tires start giving up.
You know, you see night racing in Bristol. We see it at Richmond. It combines the spark, the show, and the speed here at Charlotte. It's unlike anywhere else. 174 miles an hour last lap. And here comes Sterling Marlin in the number 8 Ray Bestis car, the man who won the Winston Open, making his way toward the front. 4 laps complete, under green. Ernie Irvan has led them all, and he is stretching his advantage on Rusty Wallace. Fast, battling in the field, number 1 car, Kenny Schrader. Just ahead of Mike Waltrip. Here's your leader. Ernie Irvan takes it off into turn number 3. He's got about 10 car lengths on Rusty Wallace.
Do it, Ernie. You're making me look good, man.
I tell you, this car's running right around the bottom of the racetrack. That's the key here. If you can look, Kyle Petty, who's really dominated a lot of races here, works well in the bottom, and Ernie's car is just wearing that white line out.
I'm telling you.
Big battle back here. Brett Bodine, Terry Labonte. Mike Waltrip going to block up Kenny Schrader there behind Dale Jarrett. Jarrett backing up. Ricky Rudd moving up. The tide rise into the 5 cars. He goes past Kyle Petty. Rudd moves up a notch. Now Schrader's going to try the way high side.
Dale Jarrett's got a handling problem on his car right now. He cannot keep the car low on the racetrack.
Jarrett started 7th. He's now running 18th. Mark Martin has moved from 14th up to 7th place. How much guesswork involved in the setup here? Some guys really hit it, some guys really missed it.
Well, that's, it's all part of it. That's why it's in 3 legs. If you have a problem, you have a chance to fix it. At least it's not like on race day when you can't change anything.
Nope, those 10-minute intermissions will be important. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, unfortunately, I know what is wrong with my brother Dale's car. They are one of those big crews that have missed the setup. The car is extremely loose right now. He's told him he's just going to have to take it easy at the tail end of the pack. Not much he can do. Can't make a pit stop and correct it. So looks like he's just going to have to hang on for as long as he can.
The key for Dale Jarrett here now is not to get lapped, because if they have an invert, it's not that bad a deal. He can go and work on his car, but the key now is going to have to run a hard enough pace not to get lapped in this first section.
Dale Jarrett trying to stay on the lead lap. He has fallen to 20th position. This man's trying to run them all down. Ernie Irvan is out front in this first 30-lap segment, first third of the Winston. It's underway. We'll be right back. TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Winston is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? If you light it, they will come. This is stock car racing's field of dreams, folks. Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Ernie Irvan is the fellow who is having the big dream right now. As our Ray Bestis helicopter-mounted camera shows you those pictures, Irvan has now stretched Rusty Wallace out by 1.5 seconds. The man on the move is Mark Martin. He went past Jeff Bodine, he went past Bill Elliott, and now he is up challenging Elliott again. This battle is 4 seconds behind the leader. Martin is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, he ran down the 15 car, which we saw earlier in the race was really strong. He ran him down, then he just drove right by Bill Elliott. Mark's car is really working well on the bottom also.
Nobody's running this racetrack any lower than Ernie Irvan. This is a pretty tight pack right here. Mark Martin's in front of it as you look at our Napa Field standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
You know, one thing I'm noticing, a long time ago, the patches were a real item anymore, but they're running below them now in 3 and 4. That used to spin a lot of people out. They're running absolutely under the patches now.
Buddy, I think one thing, when they put these big, tall spoilers, you know, it looks like an inverted wing on the back of these cars. We go through the garage, and everybody's got them standing straight up and down. They've got so much security, they just hold it right on the bottom.
Morgan Shepherd dropping back a bit. Still at speed, but Kenny Schrader's gone by him, and he dropped to 15th position.
You know, we're looking at Kyle Petty right there, and Kyle and his whole team admittedly all week had said, hey, we're off. We can't figure it out. They were so strong here last year, and they came back this week, and they just can't run at the pace they ran at the last race here. It's really got to wonder what's going on. They thought they had better motor stuff. They thought they had the car just like it was, but they just can't get it to come up to speed like they did last year.
Kyle is 11th. He and Brett Bodine on the right side of your screen are 8.5 seconds behind the race leader. Irvan is checking out, as is Rusty Wallace. The two of them have run off from Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, and the rest of this field, and Martin is about to deal with Earnhardt. He is closing fast on the man who won this race 3 years ago. You watched that race for 11th place. There's your leader. Mark Martin had a quick car in qualifying, but had a 10-second penalty during his pit stop. Assessed by NASCAR, there you're with him, and you see Dale Earnhardt just ahead of the 4th place car of Mark Martin.
You know, Mark's got his sights set now. He can see Dale there. What he's going to do is just try to chip away, work down the bottom. He's been picking up about 2 car lengths a lap on him, so it won't take long for him to be all over him.
You notice that the 6 car is able to stay just a little bit lower, and that's the preferred line tonight. Normally you couldn't stay that low, but like Neil said, they have a bigger spoiler on the back, and they can stay right on that white line.
But he's making a lot of those gains, it looks like, at the end of the straightaway.
Look at this. He's moving right on up on him.
Yeah, here we come through the dogleg area that Mike talked about earlier, the double dogleg. Okay, he ties him in that area, then you come through the second dogleg, and you come out with the lead. It's almost, if you get even at the first dogleg, it's almost an automatic pass going down in turn 1.
So that changes 3rd place. Mark Martin moves up to 3rd. Then you see Earnhardt, Elliott, and Bodine. They are gaining on race leader Ernie Irvan. Right now, they're 3.5 seconds behind the leader, Irvan. Rusty Wallace is 2nd. Mark Martin and Earnhardt now 3rd and 4th.
Now, you notice Earnhardt drove in the corner a little bit harder than the 6th, but he couldn't keep the car down. The 6th car is out handling the 3 car right now, but they'll make adjustments. I guarantee you they'll be in there when it comes time for that shootout.
19 of 30 laps completed in this first third of the Winston. Then we'll take a 10-minute break. The teams will be able to make any adjustment they can make on a normal Winston Cup racing pit stop. When we get that break just 11 laps from now.
Mike, we're seeing a little bit of line. Look here, buddy. The 11 car, Bill Elliott, is moving up high. He's trying to high side the racetrack. Looks like he's coming in a little bit.
10 laps to go in this first third of the Winston. We'll bring it to you live on TNN after this. Ernie Irvan has them covered in this first 30-lap segment of the Winston. Rusty Wallace running in 2nd. Mark Martin is 3rd. Bill Elliott has taken 4th from Dale Earnhardt. Here's your race leader. 6 laps to go in this first third of the race. Irvan, Wallace, Martin, Elliott, or rather Elliott Earnhardt. Then in 6th, Jeff Bodine. 7th is Davey Allison. 8th, Ricky Rudd. 9th, Darrell Waltrip. 10th is Sterling Marlin. He started 17th. Kyle Petty's 11th. Brett Bodine is 12th. 13th is Terry Labonte. In 14th, Kenny Schrader. 15th is Mike Waltrip. Then Hensley, Jarrett, Mast, Gant, and Shepard. All still on the lead lap. Kyle Petty slowing back straight away. Way off the pace. 4 laps to go.
Look at Sterling Marlin move up on Davey Allison, those guys. He's on the move.
Started 17th. The number 8 Ray Bestis car of Bill and Mickey Stavola. Kyle Petty, we're told, is coasting to the garage.
They said the motor blew up. One thing it might contribute that they couldn't get the car to run the pace they wanted to. Boy, Sterling made a good move under Davey and cleared him. But with the Kyle Petty story, they couldn't get the car up to speed, so they put a really, really low gear and just twisted the motor out of the frame. And they were concerned if it could stand the pace, and it looked like it might have got it.
3 laps to go for Ernie Irvin to put 50 grand in the bank. Marlin is up to 8th after starting 16th.
Boy, Ernie's making this look easy. Got out there, got the lead, and just drove away from him.
Second spot may well be a battle before this one's over. We'll have 2 laps to go this time for Ernie Irvin in a cakewalk. Second place. Mark Martin has caught Rusty Wallace. Keeps him way up on the outside.
Yeah, but he reined up way back. You know, once he cleared Earnhardt, he had a lot of distance in between him, and he pulled this off in just a short time.
If there's a car out there that can handle Ernie Irvin, it's the 6 car, because it is perfect. That car is doing everything he wants it to. He's come up through there and no problem.
He has closed to within 3 seconds of Ernie Irvin.
Whoa.
From the Revestis helicopter, there you see the 24-degree banking of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ernie Irvin comes to the stripe.
That's pretty impressive right there.
And there's the interval. Mark Martin running away from Rusty Wallace, who is holding his advantage on Bill Elliott. So Martin clearly fastest car on the racetrack right now. There you see that wheel just gently turns. No sawing at it, no working at it.
And Mark is looking out there saying, where in the world is the 4 car?
Yeah, he's that little speck way up there in the left corner of the windshield.
Look how smooth he is, Neil. He's hardly whipping that wheel at all. That car is really working.
Flag is out. It's a caution flag to end this first 30-lap segment of the Winston. They use a caution rather than a checker because the race is not over. Irvin banks the 50 grand for winning the first third. Mark Martin gets second place money. Finishing third, Rusty Wallace. Fourth, Bill Elliott. Fifth is Earnhardt. Sixth is Jeff Bodine. Seventh, Ricky Rudd. Eighth, Sterling Marlin. Ninth, Darrell Waltrip. Davey Allison faded to 10th at the flag. More from the Winston after this. Well, it's not a Munchkin car. It's a Legends car. It's a promotion of Humpy Wheeler. They had a great race here earlier this afternoon. You see how small it is compared to Ernie Irvin's car. They have motorcycle engines, Yamaha 1200s and 5-speed gearboxes. They cost about 10 grand, and they look like a lot of fun to drive.
And I tell you what, there was about 100 of them down there. They've got a fleet of these things to race with.
Pound for pound, they're as fast as the 4 car, too.
Yeah, I think so. So we're into intermission. Let's mention that Kyle Petty is still running. He did not blow the engine and take the car to the garage area. However, it did go off song, and he finishes this first segment in 20th and last position, but he is still running. And we'll find out in a bit if the fans here at Charlotte voted to let the second third of this race, the next 30-lap segment, start straight up with the winner, Ernie Irvin, on the pole, or did they vote to invert it? And Ernie Irvin would have to start 20th. Now, the voting took place before any of the racing started tonight, so it couldn't be influenced by who was in favor of what driver. From our 800 number, Cindy from Florida. How many camera positions cover the race tonight? 19, Cindy, including that Ray Bestis helicopter cam. Real neat view for you from up there. I think that's about as many as were used on the Daytona 500 this year. Well, last year anyway. Oh, well. Do the lights on the grandstand cause a problem for the cars? Scott from Nebraska wants to know. Buddy, you ran here last year.
Absolutely not. It's the purest form of lighting a racetrack that I've ever seen. You could see the gauges in the car in front of you when you're racing behind you. That's how clear it is out there.
So the cars stop and they can do any work. There are 9 minutes left in this segment that you can do on a regular Winston Cup pit stop, tires, any kind of change that you could do during a race. DeAndrea from Arizona wants to know how fans could get an Alan Kulwicki 1992 championship T-shirt. All of that souvenir stuff was locked away after the plane crash at Bristol, Tennessee in early April. But here at Charlotte, the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary has been operating Alan's souvenir trailer at the request and permission of Hooters, who was his race car sponsor, and raising funds for the auxiliary. All profits go to them. So they're operating it all this week here at Charlotte. Future plans, though, for that uncertain. Work on Kyle Petty's car. Hard work under the hood. We'll be back to the Winston after this.
back in the pits. Ricky Van Shelton, Katie Haas here, and we are going to make the announcement of whether the fans, all 140,000 of them here tonight, they were handed a piece of paper and asked, do you want to invert the way they were finished at the third leg? And you know what they said? We have the results. Do you want to go ahead and read them out?
I can't read them, but I understand it was mighty close. It was real close. The fans voted, and a lot of fans here, and it was very close.
The margin was 8-7 to invert. So they are going to invert the cars tonight. Every 7 people that voted not to, 8 said, let's go ahead and do it. So that was very close, much closer than last year. Now, Mike, I'm sure you have an opinion about all this. What's your analysis?
Well, Katie, I'm surprised it was that close. You know, a lot of short track racing. They start the drivers by points, and the good guys start in the back and have to work their way to the front. I thought by a wide margin the fans would go for that, but almost equally as many said, hey, you win the first deal, start up front in the second. It was close, but Ernie Irvin will go to the back.
Well, I tell you, if I was voting, I'd have to have it inverted.
I mean, that was my vote. That was my vote. Well, the man who will start up front then in the second segment is with Randy Pemberton.
Well, I guess he'll start up front. That is if they get the car back out there. Kyle is sitting in the car. He has no idea what it is, but I've seen what's going on. They got 4 minutes and 54 seconds right now. They've broken a rocker arm. They are inside the valve cover right now. They're trying to change the rocker arm. John Wilson, Robin Pemberton going to work on the car. They got 4 minutes to do it. I've never seen this done under a normal pit stop, but I've seen some other work around here, like Davey Allison's dropping the rear chassis on the car. But they're acting like they can get this done on the Kyle Petty car. They're going to work on it so far.
That's about an all-day job at your local dealership to get that done.
Mike, you know, they told us before the race they pulled extremely low gear, that high RPM, rattled those valves around, and he broke a rock arm. They had the stud girdle off. They're putting a whole new assembly on it.
Let's see if they can get it done when we come back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Winston continues after this. TNN's live coverage of the Winston is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Looks like it's a short night for Kyle Petty. They have put the hood down. Here's Randy.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Glenn Jarrett's here, and Glenn, you've done that to me. Dale Jarrett's standing here. He's smiling, and I think it's because he was able to bring the car home and drive it into the pits. What did you guys do to fix your problem, and what was it?
The car was bad loose. We made some adjustments on it before this, thinking we would be tighter tonight, but now we've got it tightened up a little bit, I hope. Just glad to get through that first segment and see what we can do now.
Okay, they worked on the car pretty hard. They changed the track bar, put a couple of bites of wedge in it, and Dale said we wanted to change the sway bar, too, but we didn't have time.
Well, they got a lot done in 8 minutes. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mark Martin seemed to be the one that had the most for Ernie Irvin. Mark, you were really coming on strong.
This Valvoline Thunderbird's hot tonight. I just hope that things go as good the rest of the night. The way the format's set up, you know, it could be anybody's race.
Well, you had to work your way all the way from the back. Now you got to do it again.
No surprise. I knew they would invert it. That's the way it should be for the fans.
Well, we appreciate that, and have a good time. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's a good point. This race is for the fans. That's why they run it in 3 segments. So it's always in question what will happen next. What happens next for Kyle Petty and crew as they start to prepare for the Coca-Cola 600 next Sunday. They're done for tonight with engine trouble.
One thing about that close vote, Mike, it'll keep them honest every year.
Yes.
They get them that close, people say, well, somebody can lay back. And if they had a straight-up start, they've been in bad shape. But looks like that invert's going to keep everybody honest.
Yeah, you don't dare sandbag. You see that front row spot is open for Kyle Petty. Here's how they will start the second third of the Winston. Kyle Petty on the pole. He's gone to the garage. Morgan Shepherd will start alongside. Harry Gant will be in the second row. His teammate Rick Mast. Row number 3, there's Jimmy Hensley. And Dale Jarrett's made a lot of changes on his car. In the 4th row, Michael Waltrip and Kenny Schrader, who transferred out of the Winston Open, both of them. In row 5, Terry Labonte's Chevrolet and Brett Bodine's Ford. Row 6, last year's winner Davey Allison, with former champ here, Darrell Waltrip. Row 7, Shirley Marlin, who won the Open, Ricky Rudd. Back in row 8, Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt. 9th row, there's Bill Elliott's car on your screen. He's back there with Rusty Wallace. And the last row, Mark Martin, and Ernie Irvin. Now with Kyle Petty gone, that entire inside row will move up one notch, and we'll be back with the start of segment 2. And the finish of this one, they start straight up for the final 10 laps. We'll be right back. From our Ray Vestas Brakes helicopter cam, we're about set to start segment 2, 30 laps. And the winner of this one starts on the pole for the final 10-lap sprint to the finish. We're under green. That's Harry Gant and Morgan Shepherd top of your screen out front. Gant has the inside lane. Shepherd will take the lead. Rick Mast in third. Mike Waltrip in fourth. Backstretch. Rick Mast moving up. Jimmy Hensley on the bottom on the right side of your screen. In the 7 car, Haynes sponsoring the Kulwicki Racing car here in the Winston.
Michael Walker moving up on the outside. They can do that for a couple of laps, and the tires will get hot and need to get back down low.
We saw Bill Elliott. They can't clear wrist off.
Oh, trouble. Mike Waltrip up in the wall. He got a piece of Jimmy Hensley. And we've seen some real fireworks. Caution flag.
Jared's car was involved. He's over on the bottom of the racetrack over there now.
A lot of smoke from the tires on his car. They'll come to the caution. It'll be Shepherd, Rick Mast, Harry Gant, Terry Labonte third, Kenny Schrader. Dale Earnhardt has come way up as we look at Dale Jarrett's car.
These same 2 cars had a wreck last year in Winston, if you remember, right near the first of the race. Michael and the 18 car got together.
Let's show it to you again as Mike Waltrip moving around the car looks to be okay.
Looks like Waltrip on the outside turned down just a little bit, and him and Harry Gant got together right there. There goes Waltrip going to back
Look at Hensley. You talk about lucky.
Oh, we missed him.
See Jarrett getting banged around in the middle of the pack. Allison and Bodine got by. Waltrip just barely cleared the wreck.
Well, I thought Hensley was in it when I first saw it. I wonder if he's wearing Hanes underwear.
Okay, when they went down in the corner, Waltrip thought he had cleared Harry. And he hadn't quite got by him, and he turned down, and 2 of them made contact.
Look at Earnhardt on the bottom of the black car. He scoots past the whole pack of them.
The 7 car was in that deal.
He was then.
Yeah.
I guess he got Dale Jarrett after he just missed Mike Waltrip.
Coach Gibbs is here tonight. We saw him in the garage earlier.
I think he would have called a different play.
Probably been a end around.
Dale did everything he could to get away. Then he caught Jimmy Hensley there.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Look at everybody completely off the track below the white line, just running on the apron to avoid the wrecks.
Judy from Ohio called Neil about why those lines are painted on the track.
They're really reference points in the corner just to show you where the banking ends and the flat surface starts, so it's just a reference for the driver.
Tough break for Jimmy Hensley as he takes the Haynes car to the garage. First caution of the night in the Winston. We'll be right back. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Winston is brought to you by Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Drive. We're under caution 4 laps into the second segment of the Winston. Everybody apparently okay. Mike Waltrip's car still sits down in turn number 2 down on the track apron. Dale Jarrett's car had to be picked up in turn 3 and dragged around. Darrell Waltrip, Bill Elliott, and Sterling Marlin made pit stops. From the Ray Vestas chopper cam, top right of your screen, you can see it all unfold like a pinball machine.
Nowhere to go when you start bouncing up there. No wonder the guys were on the apron there. That was the only place there wasn't cars spinning around.
Our thanks to Dean Austin of Marshville, North Carolina, piloting the Ray Vestas chopper today, and cameraman George Shaftsman of Melbourne, Florida, giving these pictures. Let's show you another replay. This is not slow motion, folks. Listen.
Man, that's awesome move.
Here, Mark Martin shifting gears. He downshifted where he could get on out of that area.
Another angle. Now look at Earnhardt, the black car. Well, now we'll see it from the front of Jeff Bodine's car. They go in the corner.
Okay, you see the 8 car took a little slap there on the side.
Talk about your near misses.
Wow.
Here's Randy Pemberton.
Well, we've got Jimmy Hensley standing by. We've been watching those few replays. How do you recall it, and what happened to you?
Well, pretty much like they showed on TV right there. Michael got nudged a little bit and got out of shape, and I just barely grazed him, kind of stayed under him, and then Dale got hit and then got up into me and turned me around and put me up in the wall.
How bad is this race car? Well, here's the replay, Jimmy, again from the Skycam.
Yeah, I thought it was okay to right here. So I thought it was okay till that happened, but, that's the way it goes.
Well, you got to get this car ready. You bring it back for the 600. How bad is it?
Well, we discussed. We never really got the car really set like we wanted to today. We tested another car here. It felt a little better, so we'll probably bring it back next week for the 600.
Okay, but luckily you're okay.
Yeah, everything's okay.
Talented race driver with a tough job this season, Jimmy Hensley. Show you how they're running after the caution flag. Morgan Shepherd retains the lead here in this second segment of the Winston. Rick Mast, Harry Gant, Terry Labonte, and Ken Schrader. 6th is Earnhardt. He made a big move, as did Ricky Rudd in that crash scene. They're 6th and 7th. Jeff Bodine, Davey Allison, and Mark Martin. A little further back, there's 11th through 15th position, and the rest of the top 20. We'll be back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. One hot night. It's heating up. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to TNN's live coverage of the Winston, and this is a job I really hate. I'm standing here beside my brother Dale Jarrett, who just got taken out in that crash. Let's take a look at the replay. We've got a monitor here for you to look at, Dale. He wasn't exactly sure what happened. Here we go down into the first turn.
Yeah, as we got in there, somebody clipped the 30 car, and then I was up in the outside line, and as I tried to cut my car to miss Michael, I broke loose and got into somebody else and then hit the wall. So just not a very fun night. I could accept not doing that well in this, but that was our 600 car, and that's what really matters is next week. So we'll have to get over here and work awfully hard.
How bad was the car torn up? Do you know yet?
Pretty bad. I got hit once or twice and hit the wall pretty hard, so it's messed up pretty bad.
Did you get to run the car enough to tell if the changes you made during that break had helped the car at all?
It felt like that. The car was going to be better right there. I wasn't nearly as loose as I was before, so I thought that we may have hit on something, but who'll know?
Better luck next week, bro. Randy?
Well, we're standing by with Kyle Petty, who had a little engine problem. Kyle, certainly you're disappointed, but nobody can be more disappointed than your engine guys.
No, I tell you what, those guys really worked hard to get some stuff together to come over here, and, we qualified good, and, we weren't running that good. The car was pushing a little bit, and we was getting ready to make some adjustments and try to get it right, but it's one of those deals, so hopefully we'll come back next week. I'd rather it happen this week than next week when the points count.
Okay, well, good luck in the 600. These guys will get some engines put back in this automobile. They'll be back. Mike Joy.
Thanks, Randy. Michael Waltrip was transported to the infield care center here at Charlotte, treated, and he was released. He was okay. So nobody injured in that one. Good news. Tough break. That car that Dale Jarrett turned down into, that was the right side of Sterling Marlin's car, and Marlin looked like he had a contender there for a while, but he's made a couple of pit stops. Out of the race, Kyle Petty with engine failure, and from that accident, Dale Jarrett, Michael Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley are all in the garage. So 4 cars from 20 are out of this event. 1 lap will go racing. To get into the Winston directly without having to run the Winston Open, you had to win a race in 1992 or in 1993 up to this point in the season. Terry Labonte also got in as a former winner of the All-Star race. And it's not just drivers, but also car owners who qualify. That's why Jimmy Hensley in the Alan Kulwicki Racing entry is in the Winston, as the team owner qualifies as well as the driver.
And Mike, one reason they had 5 transfer spots from the Winston Open, there were a lot of multiple race winners out of the group of winners. Some of them won multiple races, and it was a lower number than they normally start the Winston with, so they added 5 out of the Winston Open to compensate for that.
Ray Vestas, Best in Breaks, giving you these aerial views from high above Charlotte Motor Speedway from the helicopter. Light out atop the safety car, Morgan Shepherd and Rick Mast getting ready to go at it. Double file restart in these 2 segments.
Wow. There's one. That's for the fans, too, I can promise you.
Yeah, I guarantee the drivers would like to start them in single file, because at least you got the inside for just a minute.
There'll be 9 laps complete this time, 21 to go in the second third of the All-Star race, then a 10-minute break to work on the cars, and then the 10-lap shootout for most all the money. Well, on the restart, they get single file up front in a hurry. 3 wide down into the corner.
Three wide, a little pushing and shoving right there. Schrader was trying to get in between. Gant didn't get going on that start as quick as some of the other guys.
Where did Mark Martin come from?
Look at Rick Mass go into the lead here.
Takes the lead from Morgan Shepherd. There's Mark Martin as you watch from the bumper cam just ahead. He came flying up through there, as did Jeff Bodine. Bodine came up to fourth. And look who's in second place. Dale Earnhardt.
Here we are in Mark Martin's car coming through the little first dog leg. He'll drop in behind the 15 car. Driving up under Labonte there in the 14. Pretty good look at the 6.
That's from the back of Jeff Bodine's car. You're watching Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. You see Ernie Irvin in the picture now, too, the yellow car.
And that's a close-up look of what a 6 looks like on the headlight door.
Closer than I'd want to get at 174 miles an hour. Earnhardt is reeling in Rick Mast. Mast the leader, Earnhardt second. Jeff Bodine third, Terry Labonte fourth, and Mark Martin fifth.
And Rick Mast is the guy that was sitting in his car with a big question about, hey, we got to change this. They were changing everything on that race car to try to get it better, and it looks like they've hit on something.
Ernie Irvin, who won the first segment, started this one last. He's picking up notches at Ricky Rudd. Now he goes on the outside past Morgan Shepherd. He's up to 7th place.
That car looks like a rocket ship getting off in the corner.
Ernie's real aggressive at just driving the car down in the corner, and that's where it pays off for him here. Really sails it deep in the corner and able to stick on the bottom.
Drivers started in the back, unable to advance. Bill Elliott right now is 14th. Rusty Wallace 12th.
You notice that 4 car is handling pretty good down the straightaway, too.
Yeah, it always does. Rupp Pittman does put some power in those things. There's the 5 car dropping off. Ricky Rudd dropping to the inside.
Trouble for Rudd.
Boy, there's Elliott coming off high. Got back in, hung out a little bit. The 4 coming up under Schrader with a 6 directly in front of him.
Ernie Irvin up to 6th.
We're going to find out who has the muscle because everybody thought the 6 was as fast as the 4 car.
Ricky Rudd will go to the garage. He will be the 5th retiree from this race.
Look at Mast. I'm telling you, Mast is pulling away.
Kenny Schrader is coming right along with Irvin. Rudd has lost an engine and gone to the garage.
Schrader's running a little bit higher line through the corner there. Still plenty quick.
Look at how that spoiler on Terry Labonte's car has stood straight up. As most all of them are here.
Yeah, you used to see the driver from behind. Now you see spoilers.
Right on the bottom, and look at Ernie Irvin trying him outside. They're marking a good run up off turn 4 through the first dog leg. And then when he comes out on this second one, he should have the lead again. That's where it pays off. That 2 turns through the dog leg and gives you the lead going in the first turn.
And Ernie Irvin also gets underneath Labonte, whose car wiggles just a little bit there, getting into one. Under the light, Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are now halfway through the Winston. 15 laps into the second third, this 30-lap segment. And this is over, a 10-minute break, and then 10 laps for the money. Bill Elliott and Rusty Wallace, both those cars have gone toward the back of the field. Not responding to any changes made during the break. There's Davey Allison on the left side of your screen, last year's winner. He's battling Darrell Waltrip for 9th place. And Darrell makes the pass. Brett Bodine just behind him.
Talked to Davey just before the race when we did that little open for the show. And he said, man, we're just off a little bit. We just got to try some different things. They actually changed the car for the race, hoping to hit on something. You know, the guys, it seemed like they really were on top. The last year in the Winston, they had a little bit of a problem.
Someone was really on top 20 minutes ago.
Look at Elliott. Not
able to move up. Neither is Davey Allison. Schrader has passed Labonte. That'll put him up in 6th place. Rick Mast out in front is trying to become the first driver ever to win the Winston from the Winston Open. In fact, it's his first ever trip to the All-Star game of stock car racing. Rick Mast is your race leader. We'll be right back. Exclusive live coverage of the Winston on the Nashville Network is being brought to you by Splitfire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more till you use it. Rick Mast finished 17th in the first 30-lap segment. He has led every one of the 22 laps so far in this second segment. Buddy Baker, how do you like his chances?
I like his chances, but I tell you, that man in black's right behind him, and he is really putting the heat on him, side by side.
And for third place, Mark Martin, and the battle of the in-car cameras there. Martin and Bodine, and there's Ernie Irvan.
Yeah, Mark is the guy that's been able to make a lot of passes all night in the first leg. Also in this one, he's got Earnhardt in front of him, and he's gaining on Earnhardt.
He's been passing inside and outside. Bill Elliott and Davey Allison, two expected contenders, are back battling for 10th spot. Brett Bodine and Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin moving up to that two-car battle. But they are about half a straightaway behind the leaders right now.
I tell you, Rusty and his guys had to take a little bit of different approach to this race. He's not over that injury yet. And they said they just told him to run as he felt good. He can't afford to hurt himself. So Rusty might just be sitting there just running the pace he feels comfortable at.
Sterling Marlin and Brett Bodine. Schrader has caught the lead pack. Trying to do something with Ernie Irvan. Nothing yet. 5 to go in the second segment. 50,000 to the winner, who will start on the pole for the 10-lap shootout. $1 million at stake tonight.
If you notice, the 6 car is in his frame again. I tell you what, he's gaining on Earnhardt every lap. And Earnhardt, look at this. You talk about a shootout, we're fixing to have one.
It's going to be critical where you finish this one because of the double restart in the last 10 laps. So they're going to be fighting for the position to get lined up for this last 10 laps.
5th place right here. Schrader trying to take the measure of Ernie Irvan. Irvan ran away and hit the first segment. Can't get up past 5th spot here. Did a great job of getting to 5th. But can't run down the leaders right now. Schrader trying to deal with him. Rick Mast running a high line. And Earnhardt running the bottom. That's the difference between the first and second place cars with 4 laps to go.
I'm not sure he meant to run that last high line. He got in there real hard, didn't he, buddy? He looked like he slid up just a little bit, 3 and 4.
I'm not saying he done this, but one thing a lot of people do in Charlotte is look in the mirror. And the minute you look in the mirror, you lose your line, and it takes a long time to get it back.
5th place. Schrader to the inside. He's going to try it.
He's got the inside line on it, but Irvan's car is really stout, coming back on the outside of it. If he can pull up even with him down his front straightaway, Schrader might be able to get him going down in turn 1.
2 laps to go in this second segment.
Irvan's car comes back on the outside with a lot of motor.
A lot of determination, too, Neil.
Up front, Rick Mast has reestablished 4 car lengths on Dale Earnhardt, and Sterling Marlin in the 8 car made the move there. You saw it on Rusty Wallace. And Schrader trying it again.
Schrader says, I've got him passed, I just can't pull over.
Yeah, all right.
It's not going to give him that line. You're not supposed to. Schrader got a real loose coming up on 4.
Didn't much hurt his momentum. Last lap.
Might have hurt his feelings a little bit. He got it up sideways there.
Now, is this where a spotter's a big help to tell you when you can't get over, when you've cleared him, that sort of thing?
At this place, you can see the guys out there a little bit. You can actually feel them out there. And I think that's what these drivers operate. Certainly the spotters help, but that feel, here they are, last time going in. Schrader's going to try. Right here's where he got loose coming up on 4.
There's the battle for the lead. It's going to be Mast and Earnhardt. Rick Mast is going to win it. Schrader almost gets into Ernie Irvan. Here they come to the flag. Kenny Schrader.
He took the shortcut through the dogleg and beat him.
Almost went through the grass to get him. Rick Mast wins the second segment. There's his Richard Jackson team. We'll be right back. We're back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A big and enthusiastic crowd on hand here for the second nighttime running of Stock Car Racing's All-Star Tilt. The Winston pit stops. Wipe of the windshield, 4 tires, 1 hood up along pit road. That's the Rusty Wallace car. A few other changes, and then they'll line back up just the way they finished this 30-lap segment, the second one, and they'll race 10 laps for the money. Rick Mast will be up front He's the man who won the second segment. And the photo finish between Ernie Irvan and Kenny Schrader looked like this.
We're then in turn 4. Schrader's got the inside line, but watch Irvin's car jump off on the outside. They touched just a little bit. Whoa. Schrader got loose, but watch through the dog leg. The shorter line, Schrader nudges him out at the line.
They see it on video here. NASCAR has their own photo finish camera. And an official that looks down there at that video replay. It runs at a much faster frame speed than our television camera, enabling them to tell who hit the line first. So Schrader will get that spot. It'll be 5th place ahead of Ernie Irvan. Mast will be up front. Dale Earnhardt will restart 2nd. Mark Martin will be 3rd. Jeff Bodine 4th. Ken Schrader 5th. 6th will be Ernie Irvan. Let's run you back through the grid where everybody will line up here. Mast and Earnhardt on the front row. Mark Martin and Jeff Bodine. 2 Chevys, 2 Fords. Then Chevys. Kenny Schrader and Ernie Irvan. Terry Labonte's Chevy. Morgan Shepherd's Ford in row 4. Darrell Waltrip and Bill Elliott, row 5. Davey Allison, Sterling Marlin in 6. Row 7, Rusty Wallace and Brett Bodine. 15th is Harry Gant, who has just made another pit stop, and the hood is up on Sterling Marlin's car.
And they're taking the hood up on Harry Gant's car also, so must have some kind of problem.
They even raised the trunk on his. I don't know what's going on.
1.5 laps from green, according to our unofficial tally here.
Got a set of front end plates under Sterling Marlin's car. Evidently knocked the front end out of line. They put front end plates, going to reset it.
That's when Dale Jarrett got into the side of him after that brush with Michael Waltrip. Surprise, surprise. The man who traded a cow for his very first race car in Rockbridge, Bass, Virginia. No fooling.
He's got him a little racehorse now. That thing
Rick
is running.
Mast. First time he has ever been in the All-Star race. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, this is Richard Jackson, who owns and crew chiefs the car. Richard, you guys worked frantically to get that car ready this afternoon. This has to be satisfying.
It is. We were off under setup. We worked on it after the open, and we worked on it in this 30-lap intermission, and we've got it pretty close now. We've been fortunate to get that close, have the opportunity to work on it.
Well, I didn't see you do anything when he came in that time except change 4 tires.
Oh, we don't want to mess it up now. It's as close as we can get it right now.
Well, they're awfully happy they were able to keep that number 3 behind them. Keep an eye on him. He was running tough.
The front row, the 2 black cars. And remember last year's finish? Alan Kowicki in the white car was up there, but the force of darkness put 3 black cars in front of the last lap. 3, 42, and 28. As they wrestled with each other, and again, it's 2 black cars up front. Rick Mast and Dale Earnhardt. Somebody is about to win $200,000 for 10 laps of racing.
Somebody is fixing to earn $200,000. Somebody's going to have to get busy right here.
I am corrected. You're not kidding. $80,000 for second, $50,000 for third. All 20 drivers guaranteed at least 18 grand by R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, sponsors of the Winston Cup Series and tonight's All-Star race. Another aerial view, courtesy of Ray Bestis, the best in brakes. Our chopper cam, one of 19 cameras bringing you the action here tonight. Who do you like now?
Well, I tell you, I'm thinking a little deja vu. I remember when the 1 car was on the pole in Atlanta and the 3 car was on the outside. They didn't make the first corner. We don't want to see that happen here.
No, sir.
Mark Martin's right there on the inside on the 2nd lane.
Here comes Earnhardt with a high line. They are dead even at the start line. Green flag.
If they stay side by side down through 1 and 2, I wouldn't doubt to see Mark Martin try to 3 abreast down the back straightaway.
Here he goes. Never mind straightaway. He's under Rick Mast. Mast way loose, gets up toward Jeff Bodine, and Mark Martin gets the lead. What a move.
I felt like if they stayed side by side, Mark would make that move on him. He got down on the bottom.
Ooh, look at that. Look at Earnhardt. I thought he was going up in the trunk to ride this lane.
200,000. You might try to throw.
Ernie Irvan has gone under Kenny Schrader for third. Maybe. And Jeff Bodine comes right back to the battle. Number 15.
Boy, Mark Martin told us earlier that Valvoline Ford was really running hot. He picked on one hot night to do it.
Boys, don't count that 4 car out. I'm telling you, he's on the move.
Jeff Bodine, last week's winner at Sears Point, the Motorcraft Ford under Kenny Schrader. The Kodiak Chevy. They are 4th and 5th.
Boy, they got together a little bit coming off the corner and slid across. barely touched.
Terry Labonte is 6th. Darrell Waltrip is 7th. He's won this race before.
See, Ernie Irvin's caught Earnhardt is putting a lot of pressure on him. You might see a move down the back straightaway here.
From Jeff Bodine's car. Looking ahead at Ernie Irvin.
Well, Mark Martin in that last pit stop, they pumped the air pressure in the tires 3 pounds. Steve Neal said the car takes a few laps to come around, but now it's coming around. Mark Martin's going to be tough to beat from here on in.
Martin, Earnhardt, Irvin. And Jeff Bodine in the red car, and Kenny Schrader. 7 laps away from $200,000.
If the 6th car is going to get better as we go on, these other guys have got a little bit more work than I thought ahead of them. I'm telling you, Mark Martin is stretching it out. Jack Roush put some tremendous motors in these cars, and it's going to be hard to outmotor that 6th car. And as good as the 6 is handling, they got their work cut out for them.
Ford, Chevy. Mark Martin has 7 career Winston Cup wins as you look back through the field in the Rebestos break camp. Not too strung out at the front. Earnhardt, Irvin closing up on Dale.
That bold move by Mark Martin right on the first lap on the restart got him this lead. Looks like he's in really good shape.
Jeff Bodine and Kenny Schrader, 4th and 5th. They are losing sight of the first 3. There's a look back at Labonte from the bumper cam of Bodine. Mark Martin's biggest ever payday, $101,000 when he won here last October. He can double that with just these 10 laps worth. Plus, of course, the 60 that preceded it. Rusty Wallace moving up past Rick Mast. Sterling Marlin coming along. That is just outside the top 10. Or just at about 10th position. 4 laps to go. Wallace moved up to 9th.
Going to take a slip or something out of the ordinary to be able to make up as much distance as we're talking about in this short amount of time. Mark Martin's car is working so good on the bottom. You see Schrader trying the 15 car, Jeff Bodine again.
He's like that low side and makes the pass.
We're taking pictures of each other back and forth.
Yeah, Schrader goes to 4th.
You know, his car's handling good. He's just not running as fast as the first 3 cars are right now.
Darrell Waltrip moving up to make a move on Bill Elliott. That's at 7. Excuse me, that's Elliott moving up on Waltrip from the outside. Elliott was 8. Two to go. Ernie Irvin has caught Earnhardt. But on this track, the 2 cars working together run down a leader.
I'll tell you, as strong as the 6 car is going to take 2 of them running. Look at the lead Mark Martin has put on him right here.
It's going to take a stump and a chain, I think.
The 4 car is able to gain right here. They get up together with a 3, but the 2 of them together.
Trouble. Turn 4. It's Terry Labonte, and Elliott can't avoid him. Caution flag with the white flag, and Mark Martin is 12 car lengths in front of Dale Earnhardt as they get the yellow.
Boy, is this going to be exciting.
Terry Labonte's car sits littered at the bottom of the racetrack in turn 4. Caution is out.
They're leaving the caution out. It's not going to end. They're going to run 10 green. I mean, they're going to be green. The caution is out. If it would have been the end under the caution, the checkered would have came out then. They're going to run 1 more lap of green.
Wow.
Have we seen a lot of this lately? Just a shootout with 1 or 2 laps to go?
Well, you know, nobody had left. I mean, they saw Sears Point, they saw Talladega. Nobody left. There were a couple of people turned around walking toward the gate. They've all come back.
I'll tell you something else, Mike. Earnhardt has as good a takeoff transmission as anybody in racing. So does Jack Roush. This is going to be a drag race for $200,000 when they get back at it.
And Jack Roush is a former champion drag racer.
You're right about that.
Let's have a look at the replay. Here's what happened.
They get down in there. Oh, man. Motor cut loose on the car. Lost the engine. Got stuff coming out both tailpipes right up in front of Bill Elliott.
Bill had no place to go. Hard on the brakes.
He had some place to go, but there was a little race car sitting in front of him, and it's put him pretty well out of business with the front torn up that bad. They're blinking 8 laps on the scoreboard, so they must be going to give them 2 to go when this thing restarts, because they are blinking 8, if that's accurate.
The caution flag came out on the 9th lap of the race. And according to the rules, they go back to the last completed lap, lap 8. Cactus Jack Roush acquired a fondness for hats. Wore a hat one day and the car won, and he's had a hat, sometimes a different one, on just about every race since. You know, the crowd is strangely silent. Like last year after the race was over, it's like...
Usually when close to the end of the race like this, people are going out. After the race last year, it was 2 hours before anyone left this grandstand.
Terry Labonte's car being hooked up to the wrecker. Pit stops by Bill Elliott and Davey Allison and Harry Gant.
They just made the announcement that they would be running this thing around the green, and the grandstand jumped up and tore the place down. You hear a lot of criticism at times, hey, why they restart them, but let me tell you, these people don't come to pay to see these cars finish at 40 miles an hour a race.
No, that's true.
It's nice to see them restart these things and let them get their money's worth.
And this is a rule only in effect for the Winston. A couple of folks wrote to the papers about the difference between Martinsville, where there was a caution with 4 or 5 laps to go and the race ended under caution, and Talladega, where they red flagged the race. NASCAR's policy is if the caution comes out due to weather, and it looks like the weather will change and they can go racing again, that they reserve the right to stop the race. If that caution at Talladega had been for an accident, they would have let it run out under yellow and checkered it. From Mark Martin's car behind the safety car. They're going around.
Mike, what's going to be interesting in this little maneuver, remember the 2 abreast restarts? Okay, now we're going to have, if they go with a double-up restarts, we'll have Mark Martin inside, Earnhardt outside, the 4 car inside. Do we see the same scenario on the restart?
Wow. Let's see what the ruling is.
You know, the rules are a little different for the Winston, and if they do that 2 abreast restart, it's going to be a whole new ball game. I'm not going to promise you the rest of them will get back around.
Well, I guarantee you one thing you won't see. Look at them cutting the wheels back and forth, getting all the rubber and buildup off of those tires so they don't go in that corner and make the mistake that another driver made earlier tonight.
Yeah, you know, Schrader said that he didn't get tires cleaned up. There's Elliott going in. The body up on the wall, and he center punches him right there.
That's about as easy as you could hit anybody, though. He couldn't miss him, but he did not hit him hard at all.
They were both wrecking at the same speed.
Well, now the question is, does anybody dare pit?
Well, I saw Davey Allison come in, put some tires on. 2 or 3 of the guys who were way back in the back went ahead and gambled with new tires. But since we haven't run but 8 laps of green, it's hard to believe that there'll be a big difference in tires right now.
Terry Labonte's car has been hauled to the garage. And for the 2nd year in a row, Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night, we'll see. Well, it's not a 10-lap shootout. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout to get this one done.
Got the flagman's giving up 2 to go. Let's see if they double them up. Yes, sir. Yep. They're going to line them up side by side. Buckle your seatbelts and hang on. This could get exciting here with 2 to go. Starting them side by side again.
Yeah, they are going to double up for the restart.
You're fixing to see a tremendous drag race coming down the front straightaway. These guys will be trying to get up to speed in a hurry.
Let's show you how Mark Martin got the lead. There's the restart, and Neil, you had it. You had it pegged.
If they get side by side like that, you know, then you got to lift with the guy inside. They tangled a little bit. Mark comes up on the inside. Schrader makes a pass also. Okay, now do we get this is an instant replay, but do we get an instant replay when they drop the green? Let's just see what happens.
You're riding with a man who is 2 laps away from $200,000.
I bet you Mark looked and seen what the 1 car did there. He got a little bit loose on the bottom and almost tagged into the Earnhardt car. So he won't do that. I think he'll try to jump him before he gets to the start-finishing line here.
Now, if you're Ernie Irvin in 3rd, can you do what Mark Martin did on that last restart? How low can you go?
Yeah, but boy, I tell you, Mark's car has been so good in the bottom. It's we're just going to have to see. It's going to be critical. The guy on the inside, Mark Martin, has the right to start this race when he wants to. It's going to be interesting to see how they start.
Uh-oh, Earnhardt jumped.
Earnhardt got out ahead of him. He thought Mark Martin was in the throttle. They've waved the green. Green flag.
The rule in racing is you can pass on the outside coming to the line. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens.
But when
Caution's back out there.
Yeah.
Not going to start it. They are not going to start it.
Neil, that was the absolute best thing to do. You get one guy jump out. They did not want to restart that race, but they didn't want to pile up either. So they waved the green.
That's right.
Then they put out the yellow to get the field slowed as they're going off into the corner, and they get separated out. Good move.
The man on the pole has to come by the green flag first, though, unless the car just falters totally.
So no restart. This looks like short track racing all over again. Saturday night at your local track, and here we go. Let's show it to you again.
Yeah, well, that's not even close.
Well, as they were up there in turn 4, it looked like Mark maybe started to go a little. If you're the outside pole guy, what are you thinking, and how are you trying to anticipate?
Well, he did exactly what most people would do on the outside. I mean, he took a gamble there. I guess the 6th car might have cleared the car out, and he heard the motor go up in the air a little bit and nailed it, you know. For this kind of money, you're not going to sit there and get caught looking the other way.
Well, if Mark jumped out of the throttle, he ran the risk of Ernie Irvin running over right there.
Well, I don't think he jumped out of the throttle. I think he was clearing the motor, and Earnhardt heard the noise get up.
Bill Elliott has made a pit stop. And they should form up for a start this time, once again.
If I was Elmo Langley, I'd get a little bit more lead on them the next time, because they could pass him.
Now, if this were a Winston Cup point race, likely they would have waved the green flag, started the race, taken anybody who jumped the start, and given them a stop and go.
You know, it looks like they want a little faster start here. They keep running up on that pace car like they want him to pick the speed up a little bit.
Yeah, but Neil...
Man, we're out here to test. Nothing but rain.
If it were down as slow as possible.
Well, it all depends. Transmission-wise, you know, some of these guys use close ratio, some use wide ratio. Each driver knows what he's got, and he wants to use it strong.
He's with it.
And so did Earnhardt. He's in there, buddy. Side by side.
Yeah, if I was those people, I'd get back away from that fence also.
They are dead even going into turn 3. Earnhardt to the front. What a dive into the corner.
Did he drive that
thing? If he can get off of the corner is the key.
Lap to go. Bodine may have brushed the wall coming out of 4. White flag. Earnhardt, Martin, Irvin, Bodine, Schrader.
Now, Mark's car has really gotten up off this corner because Earnhardt's wiggling the rear and up off the corner there. Here comes the 4 car. 4's going to put some heat on the 6.
Irvin is 3rd.
Now, leading going in here doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. We've seen this before.
Look at Earnhardt go deep into that corner. Man, he's driving that
Here
car
comes
off.
Mark.
Earnhardt pushed up the racetrack. Mark Martin has a look at him, but Dale Earnhardt will collect $215,000 for his 3rd victory in the Winston.
I tell you what, that was a tough run on the outside. I was surprised that he could hold him from the outside, but he was able to do it.
Big celebration in Earnhardt's camp. Will Lynn. Some other crew members there. There's a big smile.
Where'd the yellow paint go? There's no tire numbers anymore. You'd think these guys have never won a race before.
Well, like we said at the top of the show, when they push the cars out on the line, this isn't just for pride among the drivers. The crew chiefs live right here in Charlotte. All their families are here, too. Their friends. They're going to have a lot to celebrate.
I'll tell you what, there's just two or three tires in that car that didn't have marks on it. They were mixing it up. Mark Martin, his car really ran good. They had an excellent run.
Neil, that was gutsy determination to all that was.
Well, they nicknamed him Ironhead. It shows up. Sometimes he just doesn't give out out there.
They called his father, Ralph Earnhardt, the great sportsman champion, Ironheart. Earnhardt had Dale had such a tough running style, they started to call him Ironhead.
Whatever it is, it's good.
Whatever it is, it works.
You're right. I guarantee you this place, not a person's left.
Yeah, you know, this one I never get over. Usually people are leaving, but at the Winston last year, and again tonight, nobody leaves. They stick around. I think the night racing is You think he's excited about it?
Well, last year they were all stunned. I don't think this year they are a little too. Mark Martin had this race won, had the check signed, deposited it in the bank, and maybe spent. And then the caution came out.
You see him beating the steering wheel with his fist. Man, he's a happy boy.
You know, it's nice to see it be whoever it is, that even at this level of racing, that it's just winning is what really counts.
He can't wait to get out of that car.
Look at this steering wheel.
Dale Earnhardt's a hometown boy. Grew up on the corner of Coach and Sedan Streets in Kannapolis, just about 10 miles from the Speedway.
I'd say that's a pretty good little sedan he had tonight.
Humpy Wheeler has picked the winner of the Winston for 6 years in a row.
That's right, president of the Speedway. Now the fireworks are in Dale Earnhardt's honor.
Boy, I tell you what, how the complexion of the racing changed. You know, Mark Martin leading the race, the caution, a sure winner. The caution comes out and turns it around.
You got a break there at the end. I don't think you could have done much with Mark, but boy, you had it for him in the end.
Mark, I believe Mark had it won, and then when we got that caution and I got to restart out, I jumped him a little, got a little anxious there, and they maybe to do it again. And well, I said, hell, I'll just race him on the outside. And we beat him down in 3 and got by him. I don't know how I held him off.
When did you know that you had him?
When the cross started, checkered flag.
And after all the frustration of last year, the way that things went, did you have any feelings about going into that third turn again leading?
Heck no, or he's running on the outside. This is the Winston, we're going for it.
All right, a well-deserved victory for Dale Earnhardt. Another exciting finish. Had a little help from a caution flag, but boy, what a finish for Dale Earnhardt and his crew. We'll be back to wrap it up. Stay tuned.
Exclusive live coverage of the Winston on TNN, the Nashville Network, has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Cold Filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Craftsman Tools presents the official results of the Winston. Dale Earnhardt wins $215,000. Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Ken Schrader, Jeff Bodine, the top 5. Then Darrell Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, Davey Allison, Brett Bodine, the top 10. There's a look further on back through Terry Labonte, who ended up in the fence. Bill Elliott, final finisher. Everybody else went home from the garage area. Randy Pemberton with Mark Martin.
Well, disappointed to say the least. Mark Martin, it's the Winston. Anything can happen. It just is.
Yep. You know, that's what Winston puts the money up for. It's a different format. It's built on excitement. It was more exciting the way it went down than if it would have just went down on, you know, like a single file restart or whatever. You know, that's what they put the money up for, and I'm proud to be able to compete in it. Proud of this Valvoline team. I had a great race car. When it comes down to deals like that, the fastest car doesn't always win. And he beat me. I don't have an excuse.
Maybe you'll get one next week in the 600 where you'll get some points. Katie Haas?
Yeah, we're down here, and I tell you what, Ricky Van really pegged this one. Right before the race, he had listened to Dale Earnhardt's car. What was it you said?
I said it sounds sweet. It just sounds good. I've driven so much junk, you know, I know a good sound.
Well, you pegged it right on the money. Dale Earnhardt, we're both real happy for him. And Ricky Van, we can't thank you enough for showing up tonight. You did a wonderful job, and I'm sure you had a great time.
I had a blast.
He had a blast. Thanks a lot.
I think we all did. No one more than Dale Earnhardt, who there with Richard Childress, his car owner, stands in victory lane. Quick final thought.
Proves you don't have to have a wreck to have a great race.
True. Neil?
Good competition anytime they put up that kind of money.
For Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, Katie Haas, Ricky Van Shelton, Glenn Jarrett, and Randy Pemberton. I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Dale Earnhardt on his win in Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night. And Uncle Wiki, we missed you. Good night from Charlotte Motor Speedway.